Good afternoon. We will start the Nevada Classical Academy Elko regular governing board meeting for March 17, 2026 at St. Patrick's Day. So we'll call to order start with the roll call. Lisa, we'll start with you.
Lisa Becker, present. Dorothy Stenninger, present.
Amy Nelson.
Peg Thurston, treasurer. Tim Gary.
Brain Melanthron, school leader.
And we have one Gina Donovan. And then online. You guys can just rapid fire online. We'll see Andrew. And can you state your name again?
For the record, John Pilton, SPCSA.
Thank you,
Good
John.
afternoon.
For the record, Gretchen Failer, SPCSA.
Pauline Thomas, Classical Academy Management.
Michael Lee.
Andrew McBride, Classical Academy Management.
Okay, does that cover everybody, I believe? Okay, so we'll start with the pledge. Tim? Yeah.
Hey, my flesh.
Oh,
I'm divided. I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
okay, public comments.
Okay, that's me. I'll go here. My name's Jamie Donovan. I'm a parent of Perry Jo Donovan, a first grade student here. And I've been here previously to talk about like a parent committee. So what we've started is a school committee of parents that wants to help raise funds for the school, be a parent communication resource, and other things as we continue to grow. But knowing that we're getting close to the end of the school year, we thought we would get this committee started. So an email was sent out to all parents requesting interest, right, folks to reach out. So I had about 9 parents reach back out to me expressing interest in a parent committee. We had our first meeting on March 5th. There were 3 of us there, which is okay. And just talked about some ideas of what can we get done before the end of the school year, and then maybe what are some of the priorities for the next school year, 26. So a thought that we had is an inaugural yearbook for fundraising. So something special for the students, the staff, the board, everybody that's made it through this first year, and that we will get those designed, printed, and sold as a fundraiser. And then partnering with the April Parent Academy for a pizza and bake sale, food for thought is what we came up for a name, a fundraiser for the library. So knowing that the library is something that needs to be done, we're raising funds for that, right? So going into the next school year, how can we help there? So working with Brandolin on partnering on that. And then we're also thinking to potentially add a larger raffle prize. We were sticking with the food for thought idea, like a quarter beef and a freezer or something like that to sell raffle tickets to the parents that come, but then also open it up, like sending out an email to the parents, putting it on social media, things like that, to sell raffle tickets for that as a fundraiser. And so those would be the 2 like fundraising projects before the end of the school year. And then also thoughts on parent communication to the board, right? Offering the opportunity for parents who may not necessarily want to be on this committee, but want to have an opportunity to chat with folks, to vent, to ask questions, whatever it may be. And then having either myself or somebody else from the committee come to the board to relay those questions, comments, concerns, or share that with Brandolin and or Lisa to share that with the board, just to offer another opportunity. And I know the board meetings are open to the parents as well, but maybe a committee of parents might be a little bit less, I don't know, scary.
We are pretty scary.
So we thought that might be good, and talked about potential a parent survey before the end of the school year, just to capture feedback, right, from these parents of students who have been with us since the beginning, and gathering that feedback going into the next school year to see if there are some things that maybe the board hasn't thought about, that maybe the staff hasn't thought about, or parents aren't aware of. So that's another, not a fundraising project, but something that we'd like to help out with before the end of the year. Talking about fundraising priorities. So what we talked about was the library shelving, knowing that that's a priority for the school. Staff Appreciation Week. So I know the school districts right across the nation focus on Teacher Appreciation Week, which is May 4th through the 8th. So we want to make sure that we're doing something here for the staff and the teachers to make Teacher Appreciation Week or Staff Appreciation Week special for them as well. Myself and the two others that showed up for the committee meeting offered to, and since the staff is not very large, right, offering to pay for coffee for a day, right, or bring in snacks, or doing something that week to make that week special for the staff at the school. And then a staff/teacher lounge. So the staff members and teachers have a space that students are not allowed to go into, right? So we've talked about that a bit, and looking at potentially a parent volunteer day to help with like the work of moving some things. So there are a couple of different options for locations inside of the building. That could be a staff room, teacher room that they can go take their breaks, right, have a cup of coffee, and not have to eat lunch in their classrooms and things like that. And that would be prepping that for the upcoming school year. So when the teachers come back, there will be a space. We are planning to do our meetings the week before this board meeting. So with parents and so many differing schedules and things like that, it's hard to nail down an exact time right now. But I think the further we get into this, we'll be able to nail that down. But right now I'm just doing doodle polls on times that work best for the majority of the parents and going from there. That'll be a regular monthly meeting, but we are going to plan to meet a couple of times before the Parents Academy in April, so we can have a good plan for fundraising there. And then just conversations about some other casual opportunities for parents to connect outside of the formal meeting. One of the parent committee members, she was the president of the PTA for Mountain View. So she's bringing ideas of things that she learned that didn't work out so well and things that did work well. And one of those was having she called it Hot Chocolate Club, but like a Friday morning or like a day where the parents had the opportunity to just come and chat. That might be that communication channel, right, where folks can come and visit. But we can then, bring members of the staff if Brandon's available and other folks to come and learn. And because a lot of times people might just not know the answer to the question, right? And they're, they don't want to come in and bother somebody during school hours. So doing something like that together. And then looking at future project ideas. We talked about maybe some adults only fundraising events, trivia night, bingo, those types of things that we could do in the future, right, to raise funds for the school. And then family friendly events as well. And always wanting to make sure that we stay in line with the school beliefs and those types of things when we're planning these events. But so from last year when we did the parade of lights in December, there were so many parents that showed up and so many parents were excited to help, which was amazing to me, but we didn't have anybody kind of leading the charge. So it was very much people just bringing different things, and I have a control issue. So I think having somebody or a few people that are willing to lead the charge and kind of manage the projects, and then reaching out to other parents to volunteer to help with things, it will help make sure that we look professional when we're out in the community. And I think making it a little bit more structured, but not as structured as a PTA, because learning that if you have a formal PTA, you have to pay dues to the state, and there's all these other things. So I think right now we're just going to do a school committee of parents that want to help make the school successful. So that's the plan right now, and also branching out to including staff members too, because we don't want to be making all the decisions, right? We don't know necessarily what the teachers and the staff want. So that's what I have. That's where we are right now. But but we've got some good parents that are very interested in helping and experienced and just willing to like for the bake sale, like offering to bake things or buy the pizzas and things like that. So I think we have some opportunities to at least help raise some funds. And then any like checks that are written, right, money that comes in, will just send it directly to the school for donations. So not separate organizations, just helping raise funds for the school. And make it a better, a better experience for teachers, parents, everyone involved. So that's my update. If anybody has any questions,
yes.
Point of order, public comment in this period should be limited to 3 minutes for items that are agendized for action. If we're going to receive an external committee report, it needs to be agendized. Public comments for items not on the agenda need to wait to the end. So the point being, we can't really discuss it because it's not agendized.
Okay.
So in the future knowledge, will be a meeting the week before the meetings. Do we want to have just an update agendized? And then if you're not here, that's fine too. Is that the?
Can it fall under official guest discourse instead of public comment?
Well, then, can we leave it up to Jamie if you need to agendize it, you can update it and put it on the agenda?
Sure. So if it's gonna last, if it takes longer than 3 minutes, then it needs to be.
Or if you need a discussion.
It can last longer than 3 minutes. They just.
But if it's a committee report, it has to be.
But it's not the board committee.
It's not a board.
Yeah.
It'll be-
Yes.
Or, I think we just agendize it like we do some of these other things, and then if there isn't any, we just put none, because you have old business none. So we just, because we want to honor this parents, staff, whatever it's gonna form into. We want to give you guys time if you want to bounce ideas and have dialogue back and forth.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Hey, thank you so much. Sure. Appreciate you. I can imagine.
That's great.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Jamie.
Thank you.
And we have kindergarten outside.
Oh, my goodness. Exciting. Sorry. Are they gonna come up?
That's what we'll bring him right up here.
I'll slide around.
Yes, no pinching going on.
Goodness.
Probably all extended.
Oh, we're going to hear this.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go kind of right in front of that lab where there's kind of okay there. Right now, let's go. Okay. Right here. I'll look right here. All right, over here. Hey, do not be against the ladder though, in front of the ladder. Shoots in his. In front of the ladder. Should be fantastic. Well done. Put that in front of the horse. Okay, front. Right there. Louis right there. Okay, look at they're checking out. And is there that camera?
So can they see them okay?
Okay, ready? Go.
1, 2, 3, 4, shut the door, 5, 6, 6, 17,
Wow.
That was.
All right, thank you.
And you need it, right?
I just learned something.
Thank you. Okay, thanks for the garden. This is Thank you.
Wow, so good.
Thank you.
Yeah, we learned a new thing.
No, what's that?
Okay, any more public comment? Hearing none, we will move to, there's no, I guess, of course, approval of the minutes. We have to backtrack because the sign is wrong. I put the date that I signed them and you have to do the date they are approved. So we have to clean up my mess by approving January 20th, February 10th, and February 24th minutes.
So were there any additional changes? I did correct them. There was a typo in the 20th that I fixed. In addition, any other changes for that one? For the 20th?
And
And
these have already been approved, right?
We need to reapprove, you have to, yeah, so you have to make a motion to reapprove the.
I move we approve the January 20th board meeting minutes.
Second, that.
Okay, Tim made the motion, Hank seconded it, all in favor, say aye. Opposed? Okay, thank you. Now we'll move to February 10th.
Same situation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, move to approve the February 10th minutes.
Second.
Okay, and these are approved, Hank seconded, and all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, those are approved. Now February 24th.
I had two comments on February 24th, very minor. Just for consistency, even though it didn't work correctly, under approval of minutes A, we have January 20th. But under B, we have February 10th, 2026. So it would be added 2026 on the January 20th motion. And the, yeah.
oh, I see there.
Where it says, where it's bold.
Yeah.
Add 2026.
Okay, done.
And then my other one was under 6, school leader report, the last sentence, Jamie Donovan, Jaymie. Well, again,
All right.
I would say just for consistency, the way we address board members' names and there's inconsistent. Sometimes it's first and last, sometimes it's last. Not super critical, but inconsistent.
Yeah, I checked into that and they said that it is irrelevant. So, I mean, because I did.
Okay.
And you don't have to use things like Mr. or any of those.
Okay.
Any other? Entertain a motion.
I so move.
Second.
Okay, motion by Tim, second by Hank. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None, motion passes. Moving to financial. Let's start with A, review bank balances of the Elko Federal Credit Union for donations and student generated fund accounts. Hank. Why don't you go on for this? Did you get a bigger screen or a bigger, move the projector back? Why does it look so much clearer?
We got a new screen and Lisa's letting us borrow a projector. We have another.
Makes a big difference.
She does.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
All right, so this is our report for the month of February. And the way our accounts are looking is that in our EFCU savings account, we brought forward 102,000 some change, and our final balance is 104,000. So not a whole lot of change there. Now I will comment on that. This is valid through February 28th. Since then, we have had like 34,000 come out of this account. So its balance today is around 72,000. But at February 28th, it was 104,161.03. The FCU checking, we brought forward 21,752 and we ended with 21,282. We deposited 30 in there and took 500 out. Nevada State Bank checking, we brought forward 20,697.97 We deposited a little bit over 93,000 into that. We debited 108,000 out of it for a final balance of $5,942.32. The discretionary checking account, we brought forward 4,414.63. We deposited 535 into it, no interest, no debits, for a total of $4,949.63. The EFCU certificate of deposit, February 1st, we brought forward $400,246.58. We made $1,151.39 in interest for a final balance of $401,397.97. So our totals, what you see on this page, we brought forward $549,544.77. We ended with $537,733.25 for a monthly loss of just a little bit under 12,000. So that's actually pretty good, considering that we have been having monthly PLs of about negative 20 to 25,000. That extra 93,000 that we're getting because of the increase in enrollment makes a big difference. So that's where we're at as of February 28th. Questions?
It's nice to see that number coming down a little bit.
Yeah, it's really nice to see that. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Nate.
Thanks, Amy.
Okay. Moving on to financial report from Classical Academy Management for operations account at Nevada State Bank. Should we put in an Andrew?
Andrew, we have your slides up on the screen so we can see them.
Okay. I'm trying to get the video to, oh, just a second. Just a sec. So bright out here. Hi, everyone. Okay. So do you guys not need me to share the screen, or I guess I can share and then you'll know which one I'm on. Does that work?
Sure. And they have it printed as well in front of them. So I'll just have you do it then. Oops.
Okay. So everybody can see the, I guess the title page for Nevada Classical Academy Elko for February 28, 2026.
Yes.
All right. Okay. So here's the balance sheet. And just to be clear, this does not include the donation account. So the cash as of 2/28 was 1,700, and this includes outstanding checks. So that's why there's going to be a difference between the previous report and this. This is the PCFP receivable. Here's your prepaids, 949 in prepaid insurance and 16,000 in prepaid supplies. Here's furniture, and then these are your accounts payable and your credit card, the 4,000 and the 5,000. Moving on to the statement of activities, here's the cash balances. So this just shows the cash balance over time. And again, this does not include the donation account that was mentioned previously that had like 500K in it.
A question on that sheet. I assume the last two bars are 2026.
Oh, yes. Yeah, that is correct. I just haven't updated that. Yeah, I will update that. That's good catch on that. All right, here's the statement of activities for the month. Okay. So looking down here, so this is basically full accrual. So the portion of PCFP revenue for the month, the donation line is only donation transferred. So donations transferred into the main checking account. So for February, it does show a negative net change in assets of 21,000, which under full accrual, it does look like that's coming down from the prior months. For a year-to-date total of negative net change of asset of $900. Now, there was a question on this professional fee, what comprises that last time, and we'll go through that when we go over the budget. Okay, so here's the draft budget. So this is, oh, that should say, so this should say 228, even though it says 128. That's, I just noticed that. Let me see. Yeah, because if you see that 911,
Hi, Thomas?
that 911 matches this. So that this should say 228 instead of 131. So here's the draft amendment.
I'm listening to a boring Zoom meeting.
Oh. So here's the draft amended budget, original amended budget. And so this just compares the actual in this column versus what that budget is through 2/28/2026. And everything, you know, some of these categories need to be adjusted. Like, for example, this tech and related hardware is negative, and, you know, general supplies is positive. We did notice this professional fee is running a little high, and the reason for that is the original budget did not include speech pathology, occupational therapy, and psych services in this amount, and so that's why that's running high compared to the budget. But other than that, everything is lining up pretty good. Okay, and then this is just a, you know, expense by type pie chart that was requested, and it shows, you know, 60% of expenses going to salaries, 18 to professional fees, and so on and so forth. So with that, we have worked closely with Brandolin on the 2026-2027 budget, and just a couple of kind of general items, kind of the timeline on this. So the budget to be uploaded to the state is due on April 15th. And so this budget that we'll present, it's a draft. So any of these numbers, you know, you can review with Brandolin as a board and get any changes to this budget. It's total draft, subject to any of your changes, but it will need to be approved before the end of the month, so that we have time to get everything together and upload it to the state. Even though the deadline is 4/15, we like to get everything uploaded like 5 or 6 days before that, so that, you know, they can look at it, and if there's any, you know, things that need to be updated or aren't in the right spot, that we can get that done. So that's kind of the timeline. So with that being said, so we work with Brandolin to put this together, and basically the kind of the methodology that working with Brandolin that we did is we, you know, took the PCFP money, which is projected to be 10,233 per student, and projected the 123 enrolled for the 2026-2027 school year. And that's where we got this, well, I think it shows better on the detail. That's where we got this PCFP monies. And we did the same thing for the IDA, the ELL, and the at-risk. And the other thing we did is Colleen and Brandolin, or Colleen worked with Brandolin on the salary piece. So there's a whole kind of separate schedule work, Brandolyn and Colleen working together to put all these salary components in, as well as the group insurance and the retirement contributions. And then, you know, Brandolyn, along with us, helping Brandolyn, we worked line by line to go through these professional services, and then the rest of the items, the supplies and the insurance and so on and so forth. Now you'll notice there's 3 columns in this detail. There's a projected actual, and what this is this is basically extending. You know, we have through February 28th, but basically we're projecting through June 30th to get this projected actual. This gray column is the amended draft. So you'll notice that this, see this 4113, that is right here, you know, with rounding. But so basically this is this column, kind of what the budget was in the 2025-2026 timeframe. And then this column, the draft is what the draft budget is. Now, again, you guys look at this, work with Brandolyn, any changes you guys want to make, you know, send to us. We can make it, we'll update it. And then by the end of the month, we need to get a draft approval from the board so that we can upload this to the state. And then the only other thing with this budget I should mention is there is a fund balance carry forward here of 274 to get this basically to zero out. So it net zeros. I do think your fund balance is projected to be more than that, probably closer to 400. However, this budget is just the very most conservative budget that, you know, in working with Brandolyn, it's basically all the known pieces that we know are going to happen. And so that's where we are with the budget. We will have to also, we're working on a final amended for this year, but we're still working on that. And we're doing that to kind of clear up the couple of variances that we have so far this year, that are showing, like that professional services variance that I was talking about, that didn't include the speech pathology, occupational therapy, and psych services. Okay, so I know that was a lot. Colleen, did you want to add anything? Or
Well, yeah, for the budget, hi, this is Colleen, by the way. Can you guys hear me? I'm in my car.
yeah,
Okay. For the budget, we generally like to keep it as a general business rule, 80%, for 60% total personnel expenses, 20% your mortgage or your rent, and then the other 20% is operational. Right now, the salaries are running about 84% of that of your gross budget right now. But that luckily your rent is so cheap that offsets a little bit. Your rent is really only about 10%. So you have a little wiggle. You have another 100, another 10% you can push into salaries, and then that carryover of the 270 will basically cover the difference between the 74% and the 84%. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right. Do you guys have any questions about that?
okay, thanks, Colleen. Yeah, are there kind of any general questions over anything that was covered thus far?
Let me go ahead and let's move to 9, new business D, because that's where we're going to be making any kind of feedback, possibly a motion, possibly we might have to have a special meeting. So Moving to new business, D9D, review and approve the 2026-2027 school budget. And now we'll open for questions and figure out. Ready to make motion?
Sorry, I kind of
Tentative
jumped
budget.
on that one. I think I just
No
rolled
problem,
into it.
Andrew. This is a tentative budget with the final approval would be May, middle of May, correct?
Well, so
Yes, yeah,
so-
this is the tentative, Andrew, this is the tentative budget that's due to the state by the 15th. The final budget is due in like May 15th.
Right,
Yeah.
okay. So
But
we,
just to be clear, so the board would, any changes we would need to make probably by like, say the 25th, the 30th, and then, you may need to have a special meeting or whatever to approve after any changes, because that approval needs to come before the 15th, because we got to have time to put it in the system, in the state system. So does that make sense?
yes, can I ask a question, Andrew, then because this is our first year, we're in year one, and we are, we've been learning as we go, especially with our enrollment not being what we anticipated. And so obviously that's gonna make staffing more expensive proportionally.
Yeah.
So what would a typical school board possibly change in a tentative budget that you guys have already vetted and have experience with? Just what might we have to do differently?
The thing that you guys would look at after the tentative budget is you want to make sure, because like I told you, the salaries are running higher than the normal 60%, the ideal 60%, but there's answers to that. It's covered. Like I said, your rent is only 10%, and your operations is relatively low also. You as a board basically just need to be informed that it's okay, that we're going to run into the reserves about $270,000 to make a zero balance. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, this is a kind of the conservative budget. We like to go conservative because there's other things in here that would make it likely, to not eat in to as much as the fund balance that's coming forward, such as, after school care, any fees from that, any additional donations. If you guys pick up enrollment, because for every, so like, let's say you're at 123, if you pick up 2 or 3 kids, that's another $30,000 that helps. So the idea is to kind of put down, okay, commit to what does the staffing look like that happens for the whole year. And that's the biggest component of the expenses, right? So, and that's why, that's why it's laid out first, right? The salaries and the benefits. It's really, the budgeting process is getting a plan in place and seeing where you stand. Now, being new, obviously over time, the goal would be to not use as much reserves going forward, and that's typically done by having enrollment and then having wait list as well, because then if you have the enrollment and then you have the wait list, it's a lot easier to optimize between the staffing and because you can pull as many people as you need from the wait list, if that makes sense.
So in answer to your question, I believe there really isn't anything that you're required to change. If you are okay with the budget the way we have it, and you understand that we are at 84% for salaries, and we are at 10% for rent, and we're at, the 20% for operations. If you guys think you can, change that around, Brandolyn and Andrew and I went through this with a fine-tooth comb, and as the picture stands today, this is what we've got. So there's really no requirement for you guys to change anything unless you're not happy with those numbers. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
I think once,
Because of our enrollment.
yeah, like once the lottery's done, let's say hypothetically, because what hurts us is these small
So
enrollments.
I have some more information I can give you guys.
Yeah, if we like hypothetically
I
end
have
up
that.
with 12 and 12 in the kindergarten, that, sign up again, we might have one first grade instead of two. You know what I mean? But we don't know until we do our lottery and.
Yeah, that's why this is a tentative budget. Well, like
Yeah.
I said, this is just basically to throw some spaghetti on the wall and let's see if it's going to stick. That's
Yeah.
what this is, to make sure that, okay, we're going to be able to run next year. We got this. With what we know right now, we're going to be able to operate next year.
For our own sanity, I think we need to do some pretty heavy risk analysis on this. However, these numbers look pretty reasonable to me, and I want to be opposed to approving today.
Well, let me share some more information with you, just to put some contextual around all these numbers, and then you can ask more questions or go forward. Is that okay? Are we good at that? All right, so just first to review where we are currently as of yesterday. So we have our highest enrollment, 87 students. So there's how it's broken down. First our two kinders are 15 and 13. First grade, second grade are both 22 students, and third grade currently has 15 students. So that's good.
Excuse me.
Yes.
In the last month, how many new students have you enrolled? Say just
3 to 4. I don't know exactly when they came, but yeah, within 4. So with that being said, I want to just run through some of the adjustments that we've been making real time during this first year so that you can understand how all this kind of fits together. So over here is like our revenue sources. So we have per pupil, and you guys have this in your folder if you haven't found it, under current meeting. So our current pupil revenue is $10,091 per student. This bowl represents the donation account, and this is the current balance of all of the money put together that's in the EFCU. And then the current classroom sponsors is $125,000. So this is kind of the money that we're working with and that's been raised to help us move to our next steps. So the first thing I want you just to get in your head, how we're going to end this year, because that impacts what we have available for next year, right? So the good news is, because our enrollment is going up, and if you remember, the state overpaid us back in Q1. And so for the last 3 months, we've been paying back that overreach. So we're done with that. We're getting square. Now our monthly income is 67,000, and this is based off an enrollment of 81. So this will go up in Q3, because remember, they pay us off of the previous quarter's average daily enrollment. So this should go up if we keep all of our kids in our classrooms. So that's important to know. Personnel is about 60,000 plus operations. So we're running about $90,000 a month. So we figure we have a $23,000 deficit for 4 more months. Plus I'm not sure where, and this is, Hank alluded to this, we had to transfer money from donations to cover our lease. I'm not sure where we lost the lease in year 1, but we had, for cash flow purposes, we had to transfer some money to cover that payment. So we have 1 more lease payment for this year. So that would leave us a deficit of about $125,000. So I want you to keep in mind, like I said, that our per pupil revenue will increase a little bit, not great because we're towards the end, but, and then May and June. So our average sped cost is right around $10,000 a month right now. Hopefully that will decrease in May and June as we finish off this testing and all this major lifting that we've been doing to get our kids enrolled into qualified for sped. And then, like I said, we have 1 more lease payment.
So the reason it would decrease for SPED is professional consultation.
So remember, we don't have a SPED teacher, so we're paying out for a SPED teacher, a licensed SPED teacher as a contractor, plus a psychologist, plus occupational therapy, plus speech therapist. Every month, we're paying all of that out. Okay, so just kind of hold that in your mind. And then the second thing is we have good news on the furniture. You all have been able to raise 125,000, so we only need $39,000 more to be raised. So that's super encouraging. And if we had to, we could, again, we have the money, we could pay that, but we're going to continue to work to raise that money and bring that down from there. So you put all those pieces together to wrap up year one. If nothing else changes, and this is estimated deficiency at the end of year one, so with and without the furniture. So if we don't pay off the furniture, it's 164. If we do pay off the furniture, it's about 125,000. So you can do the math there, and these numbers here are what would be left if nothing else changed today. This is the numbers that would be left in the donation in this bowl. And that's what's important as we move forward into year two. We need to make sure that we have enough to cover what we know is going to be happening in year two. Because while it gets better, it doesn't get great.
What's our expected deficit in year two?
So we'll go there, yes. That's the two, right? We'll get there. Hang tight. All right, any questions on how we plan to wrap up year one, generally speaking?
Special ed reimbursement.
We'll apply for it.
Okay, so we don't have any yet.
We got
Yeah, so
$9,000.
so it's not included yet.
We've already been paid for this year, for 26, for 25,
$9,000, and it's $10,000 a month. That's not that much.
Yes.
You're going to apply for special ed reimbursement?
There's a federal program that if you can demonstrate that you spent all the funds that you had anticipated, that you can request reimbursement. I don't know if we'll qualify, but Colleen and her team, we've done everything. We know exactly to the penny every dollar we've spent on SPED. We've coded it out explicitly painfully so that we can get that total dollar and we can apply and see if we get any reimbursement.
When do you apply?
At the end of the year.
And then when would you expect?
I have no idea. But it's reimbursed, right? It would be it's a reimbursement situation. Yeah.
Is there a limit to how much you can apply for?
I don't know. I don't know all the details.
And
Colleen, do you know?
No, we've never done that reimbursement, but we did get the IDEA-B grant money of $9,221. We submitted the reimbursement for that for the SPED teacher salary, a tiny little bit of the SPED teacher salary.
Yeah.
So that if we if we get it, it would be good, but it's not included in these numbers that we would get it.
What would be anticipated for next year? That's a significant unfunded.
So we've included that in next year's budget.
Yeah, so it's 15,000.
15,000?
Yeah, 15,000.
50 or 15?
15, 15. It's right here.
15 for the full year?
Yeah.
And it's still at play at approximately 10,000 a month.
Well, hopefully that will go down because what really costs a lot are the, hopefully we'll replace the SPED consultant with a teacher, and we have already accounted for that salary, so it wouldn't be.
Yeah, that might be a change.
Let me finish, Andrew. Let me finish,
okay,
please.
sorry.
And then, oh no, I lost my train of thought. Hopefully because we won't be bringing as many new kids into the school, we would have less school site services required.
All that testing, initial testing. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, Andrew, your turn.
I was just going to say, you mentioned that, and so if you look right here on the budget, that might be a change that we need to make. Is we're not projecting a decrease in these psych services, speech pathology, and occupational therapy. So now that you mentioned that, we might want to look at that to adjust. Just FYI.
Well, we kept it high because it's better to have it high and then not use it than to wish we had it in there.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough.
Okay, so back to this. Okay, so that's kind of how we finish off year one. Year two, all subject to change. So just to give you a sense of how our staffing plan will increase or change, this is the updated organizational chart. And the big difference here, we're adding the 4th grade teacher, the extended learning here. So this is our after school program, which we should be able to generate revenue from. And then we will bring in some more instructional aids, because this is what our numbers are kind of looking like. And these are really tough numbers budgetarily wise and to budget wise and classroom size wise. We either need a lot more kids or we don't want less kids, but because as you can see, here's where we're currently projected. So if everybody came back like they have told us, and all of the kids who have filled out enrollment for 26-27 come, we're actually in this 131 column, which is wonderful, except for, like I'm saying, these are tough classroom sizes. Kindergarten, you can't have 33 kids in one class. And if you split it, we're in the same situation we've been in this year, where we have these tiny classes that aren't budgetarily wise. So we're going to continue monitoring this, and then we will make the best decision on how we split this K1 group up. We have some real good strategies that we can talk about offline, but same with 1st grade. 30 is a huge 1st grade class. We know that there's some potential retention in here from our current 1st and 2nders and 1st grade. So these numbers, like I said, we're going to have to really be wise and considerate in how we bring these kids in. These classrooms are also big, but if we bring in full-time aides or aides that are supporting these, we can run these. And again, we also have to remember we have like the 10% rule so not everyone will probably show up the first day. So we're somewhere between here in reality. Ironically, and the joy of life, this is what we've been approved for. So if you remember last board meeting, we submitted the enrollment amendment where we dropped everything down, and the SBCSA just approved that last Friday at their board meeting. So I already reached out to SBCSA and said, guess what, guys, we're in an interesting situation because we just dropped everything and you've approved it. And at most, this is what we're approved for, the 123. However, like I said, we're already over that. So they said, and this is so classical of Nevada Classical, they said, oh, we've never seen this before. Let us get back to you. So stay tuned. They're aware. I told them I'm just being transparent and proactive in what things are looking like here at Nevada Classical. So, but then this answers, I think, kind of gets down to Hank, some of what your questions. So this is how the per pupil changes over these different projected numbers. Salaries and benefits, the good news right now is we would not have to bring in more people than what we're already planning, even at this higher number. We're just going to make it work with our current staffing load. So this basically stays the same and operational stays the same. So what changes down here is our total expenses and then what we would need to survive from our donation account. But what my numbers don't include, so these numbers are higher than what's on our budget, because I did not include down here, we get additional federal and state funding for English learners, at-risk students, SPED, which we have some in each of those categories. So we know we'll be getting more revenue. And then we also have this revenue that will come from our extended learning. We have no idea what that will be, but that will decrease this row. Any of these numbers will go down from those increases in revenue. So this is like worst case. If we don't have any other revenue other than our per pupil, this is worst case scenario. So hopefully that helps kind of give you a broader perspective of, and this will be a moving target until August 17th. We'll know how many rears we have in the seat. Then we'll update all of this based on reality and current enrollment. So the hard part is we need to make decisions today on a lot of unknowns that we have to just kind of wait and see.
I don't understand why the state approved 112 students.
Because we requested it too, because remember our enrollment was so low, we wanted to drop back down so we would get an alignment with our enrollment. We asked them to.
Because we were only at 80, at the time at 81.
And that's the number we gave them, so they approved it.
So we'll just have to reapprove something new if this, I have a question about, like, those numbers on the projected are significantly higher, and we should be breaking even just mathematically when you've got 25 in a classroom. I don't understand why we're still running a deficit other than maybe inflation and we, PERS has gone up or whatever, so when we did our original budget, we thought 26 in a class would be a break even point. And that's not the case anymore.
Well, I mean, we can, again, we can go through the budget line by line. I think maybe it's more expensive to run a school than we thought. Now we have real world data from this first year of what it costs to run the school.
So my political thoughts on that are when you have to have 30 plus kids in a class to break even, we have a systemic major issue because that's not very teachers like kids.
Well, you also considered, I think at this year too, you had 2 first grade classes.
We had 50 kids.
Got it. We're doing 15 and 15, not 30.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where
Yeah.
that's how numbers always work out to. You don't get that happy.
Yeah.
Okay, so if we were able to get creative with K1, we might be able to offset staffing. Okay, I got it. I get what you're saying. I do like the way you set this up. It's very easy to understand.
Oh, good.
Yeah, excellent.
Sorry, can I ask a question related to that? If we hit the 131, the staffing projection would be that somewhere in kindergarten and 3rd grade, there would be 3 classes. There's 3
Yes.
staff for that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
I get that now.
And then 1 each 2nd, 3rd, and 4th
correct. With full-time aid support in 2nd, 3rd, and 4th
for the bigger class.
for the bigger, since they're bigger classes. That's a double-edged sword. It's a tough, and
The
these
numbers always are like that. You want 23 to show up and 29 show up. What do we do?
So then that loops us back to the budget that Andrew has on the screen. And again, we have the revenue for the SPED, the English learner, the at-risk students. We have some of that revenue. There's additional revenue. There's federal, both federal and state SPED money that we're kind of estimating there with that 15,000. Anyway, there's a whole, like I said, I think what I'm learning is you wish you had a lot more answers and you wish that it would stop moving so you could actually catch up to reality because it's always a moving. So tomorrow we may have 88, we may have 85. Every day is a moving target and there's no way to predict other than do our very best. So this is the best we have done. Like Andrew said, Colleen and Andrew and I were here till late last night, line by line, adjusting, thinking what's best, what are we going to estimate. This is draft. It needs to be approved so that we can submit it, but then we keep updating it throughout the year.
It's tentative.
It's tentative. It's a tentative budget.
So if we feel comfortable, we can make a motion to approve this budget knowing it's moving parts. And then in May, you approve a more final moving budget.
Great. We've done this before.
Yeah, well, I thought that was the whole point, that this tentative budget is due to 15, and then the final budget is due in May, right? So I mean, there's some room there to make some changes depending on May.
So just to be clear, this budget is for 2026, 2027. So the final would be for the last year, if that makes sense.
526. So we have to finalize the current school year budget in May. This one we run for the next year, and then we finalize this one in May of 27.
Yeah. So
But it's not strong.
right, because we just adjust based on reality.
That's right. That's a moving target. If we get 10 more kids show up and we could have 2 kindergarten classrooms that are both at 22 or something to help. Yeah, it's so hard.
And every week we're getting more applications. So, and our open enrollment officially closes on Friday, but then we'll continue to accept kids and fill out our school. But we are starting to get to the wait list based on our current staffing and our current classroom sizes. We are starting to have a wait list. So that's also good because if one goes, we can pick up the next one.
And that's what I was saying previously is the wait list really helps, right? Because then it's a lot kind of easier to optimize staffing versus pupils enrolled once you have a wait list.
Makes sense. Okay, so thank you, kind of our financial and feel comfortable.
Yeah, I feel comfortable with this. I think I'll do.
I think there's a motion. We have a second.
I'll second.
Motion by Hank, second by Lisa to approve the 2026-27 school budget. Any discussion? Hearing none, move for a vote. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Okay, now we gotta flip back to the back page.
Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew, for following. Appreciate you.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, so it sounds like we'll get this ready to upload to the state then.
Perfect. Thanks, Cam.
I gotta find current meetings. Okay, so now we'll move to 6, student report, all kinds of topics. Let me find it. Like, is it kind of red?
Yep.
Kind of red. Oh.
Oh, I didn't put it in my folder. We have the second to go grab it. So I know how it starts. Oh, I actually have 2 things that aren't on my report, but that are part of my report. So let me start with that. First of all, March 17th. Here we go. I had a parent come to me and give me such wonderful news about one of our students. They have won statewide a writing contest that our Lamoille Women's Club are part of. I've got the contact to call and find out more information, but our student is being moved on to the national writing competition of 1st grade. He wrote a story and he was going to read it for us. So we've ordered a sound system with a nice microphone so we can hear our kids present their stories. So anyway, yay, I'll learn more. And then maybe next year as a school, we can participate. He participated as a student, I think like maybe at Mountain View or somewhere. So anyway, that's kind of cool.
That is.
And then I think probably most of you know that we represented and you saw us on the paper this morning at the Lincoln Day dinner. So our students did super awesome. So thanks to Lisa and Renee who headed up that opportunity for our students. And then the last thing I want to tell you before I dive into the official report is we are doing our, did you have a question?
I just wanted to add to the Lincoln Day dinner.
Yes,
But
go
I
ahead.
didn't interrupt you.
Oh, go ahead.
For those who weren't at the Lincoln Day dinner, our kids did the national anthem and they did the preamble to the Constitution. And I talked to so many people, including the governor, and Congressman Amaday and several other people who were just so impressed with the kids. They were so excited. They were very professional and people were crying. And we ended up on Governor Lombardo's Facebook page, the kids did, and he called them out in his speech. And then also in the Elko Daily Free Press, both in the photo and in the write-up. And I just think it was really good exposure for the school and also good exposure for the kids. And just people were really impressed. So,
What grade levels presented?
K through 2. It was Saturday night at 6 o'clock, and it was whoever was willing to get their kid dressed in school uniform and bring them out at dinner time. And I think we had 15 or 17 that showed up. And they just did, there's a video, if you see our Facebook page, I took a video and Renee posted it. And they were just so proud to be there. It was amazing.
That's it.
And all of our classes are learning from K through 3 have or are actively memorized the preamble of the Constitution. So.
That's great.
Okay, so, and then our last thing, I don't know if Renee sent this to the board, I can't remember, but we are doing an official first t-shirt, limited edition, first t-shirt with the, to celebrate the inaugural classes, the founding pride. So if you want to order a t-shirt, here's the order form. They're $20 each. And the front is our student drawn logo, and then the back is, it says class of, the first year's class of 2035 through 2038, because that's our graduating classes. So if you want to feel old, there you go.
Really old.
So if you want to order and support that fundraiser, and this is for anyone you know, so we're telling the kids, buy one for everyone in your family. So you can get with me on that if you want that. Super fun. We're excited to wear those on Fridays coming in April. Okay, let's run through this super quick so we can get to the other important business. Still reading Roots of American Order, still doing our classical education on Mondays and second and fourth Mondays from 4 to 4:30. Again, those, I'm just so impressed with our little staff. They just are engaging and really wondering and really thinking deeply about this thing called classical education, which will serve us well as we continue to build our culture. All this management of people, we did have one instructional aide resign. I am reviewing for some replacements. I do have 2 substitutes lined up to help support us to finish off the year. So encouraging things happening there. I thought I had really good news about a sped teacher, but she broke my heart today. So I'm back looking for a sped teacher. So if anybody knows a sped teacher, please send them my way. Yeah, that's rough, but we'll find one. Parent communication, we have Jamie here. I'm calling them the Parent Volunteer Corps, the PVCs, but I don't know if you like that. That's so they're heading up, as you heard, the library fundraiser, Teacher Appreciation Week, and other school activities. School handbooks. If you are in our school and you notice anything, I do have this list of how we're updating our student handbooks. So make sure you give me heads up, and we'll be working on that in the near future. With regards to the updated board policies and procedures, Joe and I are working on creating a board book and an operations manual electronic that can easily be printed with all of our policies in one place, organized, numbered, like a real school has. So that's coming, and you'll have access to that, and then we'll put it into your binders when that's prepared. We're writing a lot of operational policies and procedures right now. Just as we're learning and growing, we're realizing, that needs to be proceduralized. Let's make this better. Let's make a procedure for that. So all that's getting done. John and Gretchen are here to talk about the final report for the site evaluation. We'll do that very shortly, so I don't need to take any time. I sent it out electronically, but I do have a printed copy, so if anybody wants to look at it in old-fashioned paper, that's available. Grand Canyon University. Oh, I did meet with Hillsdale at the conference. I should have wrote this in there. I did go by their table, and we had a lovely chat, and we talked about our school. I did reach out and ask for some specific specific teacher support, but because we're a curriculum school, they can't do it. So we will continue to work make the best that we can do with that training that's needed. Yes.
I saw something, I think maybe on LinkedIn, that they had posted that the curriculum schools are receiving additional support, that they have updated the program. Did they talk to you about this at all?
Well, they've given us access to their online library significantly, which is helpful. That's helpful. And so I'm creating my plan for our teachers and our instructional aides is I'm going to create a playlist that I expect them to watch over the summer from that K-12 library. But as we all know, nothing replaces real life training where you can actually ask questions for our school and our curriculum with our children. And that's what our teachers are desperate for. Like when I have a kid that can do this, but can't do this, what am I supposed to do? That's what we need. We will, like I said, we are smart enough that we can solve that problem. It would just be nice to have a little more direct support.
It seemed like there were a few more things on that list of updated that they were adding other than just the curriculum. So we should make sure it seems like maybe something about policies or.
Yeah, if you send it to me, we'll check it out for sure. Yeah, that would be awesome. Cause yeah, we're, and like I said, part of this is you don't know what you don't know and we're, 7 months in. And so now we actually have experience with the curriculum. We know our kids, and now we have some really great questions that we need help with because we're actually doing it. So I'd like you be able to use the summer effectively to help prepare us to do it better. And kudos to our staff and our teachers who very much want to do Hillsdale K-12 with fidelity. And that's where we're getting, like, you can see where it would be easy to start sliding off because there are programs that we know, but we're doing our diligence to not do that because we want to do Hillsdale with fidelity, but we also need help answering some of these complex questions. So that's that. So yeah, if you'll send me that resource, Lisa, I'll dive into it too, because I may have missed it. It's very possible. Grand Canyon, I should be done in May 13th.
Yay.
Yay. So it's coming. We're getting there. Budget, we just talked about significantly. Thank you for approving that so we can get to our next steps, and we will continue talking about that real time. State testing requirements, we have SBAC left, which is scheduled for the week of April 20th, which is 3rd grade. And then we have our spring map scheduled for May 18th. This will be exciting because we'll be able to compare, and I'll give you guys a board report on comparing our fall to spring data and looking at our growth. And then this is marketing is more or less what we just kind of went over with regards to the budget. This is the breakdown of, we have 45 new student applications, 32 kindergartners, 4 first graders, 4 second graders, 2 third graders, and 3 fourth graders. So we're tracking that. Closes March 30th. Renee and I'll do the lottery. It might be a lottery of 2 kids. Nonetheless, there's a lottery for some of our classrooms. And we'll get that all squared away. And then we'll continue to accept those applications throughout the year.
For those kids who are applying for first, second, third, fourth grade, does it seem like, have you looked at all, does it look like it's because they have a kindergartner coming in with them?
We have a few siblings.
Okay, like maybe the parents have finally decided, well, if I'm going to move both of my kids.
Shift one, yeah. Couple siblings, yeah. And that'll, again, that will impact like the whole lottery thing because siblings have preference. So we have to have to go through it one by one. We'll get to actually practice that skill this year, which is so exciting. Yay. And disciplinary policy. I didn't put this here, but we do have the behavioral specialists who have been auditing our school or observing our school, and they'll be giving us a formal report on adult and children behaviors and how they're interacting and what we could do to help make our school better. So I'm curious to see what that's going to look like. And then everything else is status quo. Any questions I can answer?
Who instigated or implemented the observations for the behavior study?
I did.
And who do you reach out to for that?
We're using Michelle from Crossroads Behavioral. She's already in the building with some of our other students. We've had multiple conversations about some of the patterns that we're seeing. And I'm I guess, I don't know if maybe it's my science brain by design. Like as soon as I start to see a pattern, I start asking, why are we seeing this pattern? And what can we do to stop this pattern? Because it's clearly both parties are involved in any behavior. It's never just the child. The adult always plays a role on some level. And so I'm noticing some real behavioral patterns. And I asked the question, how do we solve this? Because we don't want to keep doing this. And I don't know the answers. And so we brought her in, and she's, like I said, she'll give us a full report and some potential recommendations and how to also potentially work with some particular children that we're struggling with. And we're in communication with those parents too, recognizing like something's got to give, like something has to change. This isn't good for anybody to keep having the same problem. It's like, knocking your head on the.
But it might, and I think it would be good. It seems like a good idea to have somebody completely outside of our school looking in, and then you can accept those recommendations.
easier.
Yeah. So I'm excited. I think it will make it, like I said, it will make us a better school when we better understand, it's the ABCs, antecedents, behavioral consequence, right? Like we need to know what's provoking some of this behavior.
How have the parents been in dealing with that?
Parents have been super receptive. I was telling Tim, and it might come out from John and Gretchen, like we definitely did not start well with some parents, but we've mended those relationships and worked really hard to create better relationships. I'd like to think, and I would, if anybody knows differently, tell me. But I think parents feel they can approach me, like I'm very approachable and very much want to help be a part of the solution, and just dive in headfirst to any situation. Like I'm not like conflict, like, and the hard conversations don't bother me. Like, let's just jump in. And I think the parents are appreciating that. So there's a lot of hope. I mean, we're seeing really good things happening, but we do have some that are just really like, educators I like to think of were like, we have a toolbox, and the longer you're in education, the more tools you have in your toolbox. Mm-hmm. And you work with these children and you're like, okay, let me try this tool. Let me try this tool. Let me try this tool. And, collectively, our staff has lots of years of experience. We're a young staff, but we still together have quite a lot of tools in our toolbox. And for some of our children, I look in my toolbox and it's empty. I'm like, I don't know what else to try, right? I'm out. I've done all the things I know. So hence why we have to bring in someone else to help us, like give us more tools.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to piggyback on what Kim said. It's just a pretty interesting story. So when I was the principal at the elementary, my last little career, which is in my wheelhouse, but we were having all of these issues, and we were able, through observation and just kind of stepping back, we figured out it was third grade, primarily, not by looking at our dad. And then we're like, okay, what's happening in third grade? And you're looking immediately for reasons, or, but no, we stepped back, had some observation from some people, and we found out all of these referrals were happening at a certain recess. Then we were able to do a little more digging, very into the recess, and it was when they were lining up. Yeah. And the reason was they were lining up, and the teacher's hallway was, this way and this way to get out there. So the bell would ring. Most teachers pop out and grab their kids. Third grade teachers had to walk here, here, and here to get their kids. It gave about an extra 2 minutes for 110 kids to be lined up right by each other.
Yeah.
And it's like such an easy fix. We just made sure that one of the aides at recess stood there till the teachers got there. Boom. So see, you just find out all these things that we would have found every solution, and none of them would have been the right one stuff. Right. So it's pretty fun to get outside people to look.
Here's an aha we just had. We tell kids all the time to be quiet when we want them to be silent. Quiet and silent are not the same thing. Yeah. So as teachers, we're up there saying, be quiet, and they are technically being quiet, but I'm like, I want silence. Yeah. And that was it. I actually had that aha in front of all of the students at morning gathering about a week and a half ago, because I said, I need you to be silent. And the room went silent. And I said, you guys, and I'm very open with the kids. Like I said, my mind is blowing right now. It's not the same as silent. And so we had this whole conversation, like, this is quiet, this is silent, right? Anyway, it's the littlest things that make the biggest difference.
That's
always learning. I know, always learning. Okay, enough about me. Let's go on. Let's get John. Go to next stuff.
So
Thank you.
7, there is no committee meetings, no old business. So 9, new business. A, discussion with state public charter school authority, joining via Zoom, regarding the January 29th site evaluation. John and Gretchen, can you get them back on the?
Let me see how I get them back on the big screen.
We can see them.
Thank you. For the record, John Pillaton. Gretchen did have a meeting to attend to, so it's just me, and I want to thank you folks in January for your hospitality and visiting your wonderful town and school there. It was an honor, and we saw a lot of great things. I just want to present the overview of the strengths, recommendations, and challenges. Do you guys have? I just want to highlight 2 of them that comes to mind. There's a few on your report. One was the personalized learning environment and the mission-driven culture was so evident. It just unified the whole day. Small class sizes, and the family and the staff and everyone spoke to that goal of keeping that an essence of your school, and it was really, really refreshing to see that. Along with one additional strength I wanted to highlight was the commitment to developing and refining instructional practices, the awareness of knowing that you folks are new, but yet the Nevada content academic standards are pillars that the school is working to study and deepen understanding and delivery of instruction, along with your unique classical model. And so that was really refreshing to see as part of the strengths, which were noted on the very front end of the document. Do you folks have any questions regarding the strengths?
Resonates. Yeah.
And thanks to Gretchen as well, she worked with another school leader that had a curricular guide that was sent to Dr. Thran, and that will only enhance the school's ability to really deep do a deep dive on instructional pacing and guidance for mapping up the whole year. Dr. Thran can speak to that, and maybe she already shared it with her staff. So that's going to be a resource. In terms of challenges, and you folks spoke to it about the enrollment, and it was on our agenda, our board agenda last Friday, that it was you amended it to 112 for next school year, and I'm understanding there may be some good news on your part that it may go up, which is nice to hear. Originally 160, it's now 112. That was a noted challenge that you guys are working through in terms of the, I think they're like that state-wise. As you may hear, Clark County School District also has decreased enrollments. So that's kind of a general trend. And I want to highlight the recommendations, which the school leaders are very gracious in listening to. And already one I want to highlight was some of the feedback from the parents, not that they were down on the special ed program, but they felt like there was some refinement in communication systems. And already I can hear Dr. Thran speaking to that, which is refreshing, coupled with the 3 board members that joined us who impressively have almost 100 years of experience. So I felt like that can be leveraged to the school's benefit. And governance. No, I mean,
I think he just called us old, but I'm.
Very
No, that's-
PC way of doing it.
That's a lot of years of experience that can be leveraged. And Dr. Thran brings a lot of expertise too. So we felt really comfortable publishing this report, and I am here to kind of represent our agency in good faith and answer any questions.
That was really fast. No, I mean, we know our enrollment is our.
Biggest challenge is that.
Yeah.
You see that report?
The report, you have the report, right?
Then it was a chat to an email.
Oh,
We'll have
I haven't seen it
access
up to now. Okay, no.
No, I had sent it earlier, but yeah,
You'll have it in your email.
yeah.
Right, yeah, I shouldn't have already seen it then, I didn't just miss it. Somewhere.
It was there yesterday, that stuff.
Oh, I didn't.
And that'll have his last name spelled right for the minutes.
Yeah.
Because Peloton, yeah.
Yeah, like pilot and then IN. And again, thank you for your wonderful engagement during that day. We really felt welcomed, and the engagement was important. So thank you.
Well, we really enjoyed having you guys, and you gave us some good feedback, even when you were here. And the weather was lovely, even though you were freezing. I'm wearing t-shirts, and you got lucky on the weather.
And
It
this
was
will
beautiful.
happen again in year 3, right? We do another site visit in year 3.
Yes, and we will be back in the following year, and we'll excited to see the growth and to deepen some of the things you folks are doing. So that's exciting for us in this partnership. So yeah, and if Dr. Thran's been great at reaching out, so if anything comes up, please reach out to us, and have a great March.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Okay, and there's No need for actions. That was just an overview.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's very nice to see in writing the great things that you guys are doing around here, that you all are doing. It was so lovely to get that report and see so many strengths and knowing that we have some things to work on, but also no deficiencies at all. And no strong recommendations is, I think, I don't know if they said anything to you about that. But that seems to me like that's a pretty big achievement for a first year.
Yeah, especially one of the biggest things was to make sure we just keep the poster shelf.
Yeah.
We can't even do posters.
Yeah.
No, the
Required.
posters for homelessness. And
Can't even tell.
alternative housing.
Pretty impressive.
Well, thank you for noticing, Lisa. I appreciate that.
I think having Cam as our back office, all those strategic things that we did and getting that professional development and hiring you, it's just been a lot of positives. Okay, so there's no action on that, so we will go to B, review classical academy services contract. I was wondering why Colleen was still hanging around for 2026, 2027.
So this was shared. I reviewed it. I do have a couple of questions, so I'm glad Colleen's here. But do any of you guys have any questions? Or I think what Amy just said, it's been instrumental having Cam as our back office. I think we have worked hard to streamline a lot of systems. Colleen and I work well together. Sarah, Daniel, Andrew, Mr. Fick, the whole team. We're really, I think, finally kind of clicking along. I feel like the train is consistently moving at this point.
There was a slight increase, but value added of what we're getting versus what we'd be paying if we attempted to do this on our own is like, there's no.
And what is the
No
increase?
Increase is like
$300
For the year?
Yeah.
Not.
Yeah. It's so, yeah.
The total is per month $4,804.79 per month.
Yeah, and it was such a slight increase.
Were there any other additions that were in here from a previous contract, other like these additional costs for software or anything like that we didn't have this year?
No, so $57,657 for the year is what it'll cost us, which is less than a person.
Yeah, having finance person.
Yeah, when you think about all.
And now it should, like you said, be more smooth, you know?
Yeah.
Let's figure it out.
Easier, yeah.
You a boss. So what we would need is a motion to approve the updated contract. Randall?
Yeah, can I ask a couple questions first?
Yeah, for sure.
Colleen, I have a couple questions for you, just to clarify. On page 2, under annual audit, it states Cam will provide assistance with the NCAE's annual audit required by the auditor. Cam will charge a fee for its assistance in the annual audit. But then on page 8, this might be two different things. I'm just having aha. But anyway, on page 8, it says audited financial reports is part of our services. And so first I wanted to make sure that's not in conflict. And then second, do you have an estimate of what the annual audit support would cost us?
I'll get unmute me. So here's okay. So the audit support, what they do is the auditor will call us up and say, I need these trial balances and this, and Andrew will provide that. That's included in the service. And then they'll pull some samples and they'll say, okay, I need these samples. They'll give us random samples. And if we've got all the documentation, we'll just send it over and provide them. It's nothing. Here's where the extra charges come in. And this is why we are such Nazis about those receipts and the documentation. Because if we don't have that, it's per hour for us to go and try to find it and provide it to the auditor.
Okay, gotcha.
So that's why Sarah and I, like I said, have become Nazis about getting that documentation, and it's attached to every transaction in Sage. So when the auditor calls for their samples, we've got it right there. We just send it immediately.
Okay, so if we've done our due diligence, it shouldn't cost us additional money.
It shouldn't cost too much. We never know what we're going to get into in an audit. In a perfect world, no.
Okay.
But there's always certain things that they need. The trial balance doesn't match. Luckily, with us, we've started from scratch with the books, and so we know where everything goes. We know where everything's at. I don't anticipate that much more, but we needed to have it in there, in the contract, and just in case if we have extra, that we will be able to charge it.
Okay.
What is the hourly rate for that?
$50 to $125 per hour.
Yeah, if it's me, I'm cheap. So or Sarah and me, we're cheap. But if you get into Andrew, it's 125 an hour.
You're doing a lot of things.
Yeah. I'm not easy, but I'm cheap.
And then thank you for that clarification. My other question was on page 12, Infinite Campus Support. It says Cam Nevada is the primary administrator for the student information system. Set up student information system, work with designated IC school leader and primary users. Well, I don't know what that means, because right now Cam has not done anything with our Infinite Campus. And I don't think we want them to do anything with it.
Yeah, well, Daniel is Founders Academy's administrator for Infinite Campus. We can delete that part out of there if you don't want Daniel's support for that. We can delete that. That we just put that in as part of the organizational framework.
I think we definitely need Daniel's support for like when we pull reports, like the free and reduced report, the EL, right? All those reports we have to do for Epicenter. But what I don't think is I don't think Cam is the primary administrator. I think what we need to just say is Cam has access to our student information system. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yes, I will have them. I will have those Ramey make those corrections in the contract.
Okay, yeah, just like provide the support, but we need to be our primary administrator. We are the primary administrator for that.
Yeah, well, I think that's language left over from when we didn't know how much you guys are going to be able to do.
Okay,
so fair. I can easily change that. That's an easy fix.
Okay, and then on Exhibit 3, I think I'm realizing this. So we pay the Sage subscription fee through your the bill that you send us. But we will continue to pay Paylocity separately each month.
Yes, exactly.
Okay,
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, that's all I had.
Okay.
I have a question for you, Brandolyn. Under the employee, that is page 10. At the top, employee handbook development support. Are they helping with that?
They do more informally, but a lot of our procedures we run through Cam and ask them, like, is this the best way? Or we say, how do we handle this? And then that ends up in our employee handbook. Yeah.
And then do we need Katie to look at this? Our legal counsel? She
looked at the original one.
Yes, please.
I asked if Katie has looked at it. McConnell.
The CAM team has an attorney, because we both sit on that. Actually, I told that board, when we were at that meeting, Katie, you guys were gonna send that contract to Katie. Did that happen?
Oh, Colleen, you're asking Colleen?
Yeah.
Oh, we said, yeah, well,
I
I believe that I'll have to ask Ramey, because Ramey was the attorney that's on our board that drafted that, and I believe he was going to. I don't know if he sent it to your guys' attorney. I don't know if he has that contact information. I'll ask.
He does have the contact information, and he said he was going to.
All right, I will follow up with him and find out if he did.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Because I think if not, we do need Katie to look at it.
So do we wait then?
Well, I think not that there's anything wrong with the contract. I don't think that's the point. I just think that just going forward, it's good that she's aware of what we're signing and where things are at. I don't think it's gonna be a big issue, but I mean, we could probably make a motion pending legal
review.
approval if we wanted to do it that way, or just agendize it next time, whatever's. The board thinks.
Or ask for feedback, because it's, this is a kind of a boilerplate that we use for all of the schools that they oversee, right?
Actually, there's quite a bit of difference in the contracts, but I noticed from what the last.
Some of the bigger ones, like the founders, they're substantial, because we have 900 kids or something.
But, yeah.
Fees were.
Like I say, I don't see, I thought the contract was reasonable, there are a few here, if you change, but, I just think as a courtesy to our legal counsel, I think she needs to, instead of trying to back up, not being familiar with something. I just think that's just a little more prudent.
Any approval from our legal counsel?
It's on the agenda for next.
Is there any pressing, you can have Katie look at it and approve it next month? There's no pressing timeline, Colleen?
We have on our timeline that they have to be back to us by April 1st.
Oh.
So you said that,
Well,
because there's an attorney on the board. It's pretty well vetted, but we can do it as approve it and then give it to Katie to look at. And then obviously if she sees some glaring issue, there's nothing wrong with reopening it. Just hate to have other people's. We have to have a special meeting or something, and then we have to scramble to get Katie to look at it in the next week and a half.
And if there aren't that many changes and she's seen it, which she did, she reviewed it last year.
Yeah, she
reviewed it
last
last
year. I
year.
don't think it's gonna be that big of a deal.
Yeah.
So I think we can just make a motion pending her, review and approval. I think that will work. Because I don't think, as long as Colleen, as long as you get Ramey to send that over to her ASAP, huh?
Yeah, I'm gonna call him as soon as we get done with this. As soon as we get done with me today, I'm gonna call him.
Okay.
Okay, so if we make a motion, we do it with the changes that were brought up regarding the Infinite Campus. And then we keep it clean so they have theirs, but then we still have Katie review it after the fact type of thing. Because it was such a slight change. It's just a slight increase. Okay, so we'll entertain a motion if somebody's comfortable doing that.
I'll make the motion to approve the CAM contract with the suggested changes and subject to the approval of Katie McConnell.
Second. Dorothy made the motion, Kim second, any discussion? Okay, hearing none, we'll vote, all in favor? That's not bad. Any opposition? No. The other one scares me, I think it's fire alarm. Okay, motion carried. That one's not as bad. Oof. Okay, now to the 5. C, discuss school leader evaluation for 25-26, and it is due in April. So, as you know, last year we had a heck of a time with this, but it was year 0, so we couldn't answer this. So I feel much more comfortable feeling like we can do some sort of a reasonable score this year, but let's do feedback if anybody has any things we might want to change, look at, before we make sure we have clarity on how to score and get the information back to me within a week or 2 or something, so we can have it agendized for April. And Jimmy weren't here last year, but it was a cluster because it was year 0. There was no staff, there was no professional development, there were no students, there was no discipline, and we were
There was
all
no nothing.
There was maybe 3 of them, and then the score came out just kind of googling. And we may still find that the score isn't very reflective.
But there won't be so many zeros. Like last year, there had to be some zeros on things because they didn't exist. And so we had to figure out how to deal with that. I had a question, well, 2 questions on it. One, I guess we stuck with, and this is kind of a question for you, Brandon, we stuck with this school leader report, these numbers 1 through 16, which is what the evaluation is built on, the structure. Do those 16 still make sense to you as far as?
I think so. I mean, I think
there's nothing glaringly missing.
There's nothing, I don't think there's anything missing. I think that top section that I always kind of lump the staff and faculty all together. maybe could be streamlined, but those 16 came out of the Hillsdale best practices. That's where they came from. So, and as we get larger, maybe those are going to start to tease themselves apart more, faculty versus staff, hiring versus management. I think right now it's kind of all just still kind of lumped together. But I think it seems like that would be a stronger tool, like you guys are saying, for this year, and then maybe worth a try, and then we can always update it for next year.
Let's give it 1 year to vet and see if that's.
My second question is related to the way we have this matrix built. There's a column for evidence. And is that evidence, I don't recall when we built this. Is that evidence that like Brandolin should go in there and put in some evidence and then that's what gets sent to us and that's what we're comparing against? Or is the evidence something that we as the board members are supposed to fill in as we make our assessment? So is it sort of like your way of doing a self-assessment that then you can share with us? Or is it something where we're sort of justifying what our numbers are, what our ratings are? I don't know who can answer that question.
I thought the evidence was just examples of things we might look at. Like, we wouldn't put anything in there, it's already pre-written. And we would just use that as, so like, say that I'm trying to look and I see number 7, parent communication. Then I know I can consider any newsletters, what she's done with the website, what she's done with social media. Those were just examples of ways we might measure it. And I suppose in the comments that, you know, you could, if there's something she did that was not in the listed evidence, we could put it in the comments. Or if we want to add more right now, like looking at number 9, relations with the board, the SPCA, blah, blah, blah. Smooth operations, timely responses. That's pretty weak for evidence. It could be that we did this, you know, annual review or whatever you call it.
That was my thought in looking at them, that some of them weren't particularly relevant. They seem to need some updates, sort of like the marketing enrollment maximized. That's, well, that's not a 3 if that's what we're comparing it to, but so I don't think there's enough here. And I want to make sure we're all on the same page for how we're going to be filling this out.
Let's take a minute and look through all these evidences, because like under 9, I want to add site evaluation to this year, because we just did it. It was a huge load on her to get everybody together, to get the timing.
I need a copy of that. I do not.
It is in, do we have a copy in here?
I did not put a copy.
I
I
made
made
a
it last
copy.
year. I can go make a copy.
Maybe email it to all of us a couple of weeks.
Do you want to make a quick copy and then we'll look through the evidence that I just wrote on?
And I have it, I don't know where this lives, but I have it here and I'm happy to write in.
Did you write site evaluation under 9, I think it was? Because that was a unique thing to happen. She had to do something, but you know, we had to be here at a certain time. She had to get teachers and
Site evaluation.
yeah, people
What was
do
that guy thinking? What did he say?
pilot.
I-
And I'll look up for.
Oh, I have it, it's on the report, isn't it?
Yeah,
I
that
have the
was
report right there.
So it's like pilot and.
pilot, IN,
Pilot.
and then I thought it sounded like that exercise, Peloton, or whatever.
Eleanor.
You see her name yet? Gretchen?
No, see, it's not on the report, at least not at the front of the report. It's further back. Yeah, I don't.
Does that come down? Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
You what? You got my name? Even love. Lisa, you're all good?
I'm good. I'm gonna make the.
This is the
here.
right now. Okay.
Okay, so let's start on education, evidence is transcript.
I don't think that's particularly helpful. But
No, but we know she will be finished in May, so
Yeah.
we just put We don't want to look at a transcript necessarily, concerned with grades. What would we put as evidence? Just continue, what do you have in here?
Nothing. For
May 13th completion or something? I mean, I just, something that helps us with this, the evidence is gonna help us when we go to course
Progress.
progress.
There you go.
Something like that. It's gonna help us when it's time for us to think 1, 2, 3, 0. Course progress. Hey, work ethic.
So like you could contact Colleen and she could give you like my time card, like punch in and out, like if you want hours worked.
Lord, no.
It says hours worked.
We're not micromanaging.
Are you working 40 hours a week?
Yeah.
No, I'm not.
Work ethic is a combination of so much, yeah.
Yeah.
I think this is okay for us to get an idea of.
I don't want to propose this, but I'm going to do it anyway. Sorry. You know, in a big business, often you have to do like a self-evaluation that shows some of the things that you've done. And I don't want to ask you to do more. And I know that part of what we talked about is we have all of your reports from the whole week. Maybe we could ask you for like a highlight in each of these columns, or maybe some top successes or something, some way that you can remind us of all the things we're supposed to remember.
You expect me to remember?
I know.
We do have these every month, so like we can see that there's been an increase in student application. She did the lottery.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
And I think the onus is on us
These
to
are
look at
good.
these, and I'm not
Yeah.
asking for that. I'm asking for
Hmm.
maybe just a short and sweet, not even a recap, like a sales pitch.
Yeah, brag.
Maybe
Sell
just
yourself.
like a few highlights of things or projects or something. We don't have something really well built here, and maybe we need to do that. A way that you can self-evaluate. Because I think that's really an important piece. We see so little of what you actually do.
Okay, I can do that.
NEPF, the one that we used in the system, we had to do that. We submitted it like 3 weeks before we had our evaluation. It was basically, we did the work for them essentially, you know, like you bragged about everything you accomplished to remind them because they don't remember.
Yeah.
So it could be literally a couple bullet points or something.
Okay.
You want to say, hey, you know, we had an increase in enrollment.
Did you have a specific form that you used for that?
Yeah, it's right in the NEPF.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me see if I can find one, and if I can download it, I'll send it to you.
Yeah. Again, I know that you have way more important things to do.
Well, it's kind of fun though to reflect.
It is
And it would be nice to know sort of how you feel about how things are going at the year. All of that. Again, we all work together in one office and we
right.
saw what you were doing all the time. I just don't want to miss anything because we've made a very structured matrix.
Right. Okay. No, I can put something together.
This might work as NEPF because it's pretty.
It just needs to be very simple, but a place for us to, something to add into these.
Okay. I can do that. When do you want it by?
When are these due? When do we have to let them?
That's what I was just gonna ask. How are we going about this? And
We just said it's by April. I think
Yeah,
in the
you can-
bylaws or something, we said by April. My evaluation is in April. So I think if we have it by the.
Does that seem like a strange time? Before the school year is over?
No, because it informs if you bring me back next year. Like we are doing it for all the teachers this time because it informs do you bring them back before you offer the offer letter. Yeah. I mean, I have we know I have the contract, so I'm assuming I'm coming back. But this would be the evidence that you could use to disinvite me back, I guess. So yeah, that's the timing so that you have that.
Is a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Enough?
I mean, I can have it let's just say by what's a Friday? What's not this Friday right now, but the next Friday. Is that good enough?
Yes.
And then
Like April 3rd or something like that?
The 27th, you mean, like?
Yeah, 27th. I'll give it to you by the 27th, March 27th.
And so then we individually submit all these to you, Andy, is that the plan?
Yeah, and then we have to, well, when we get to it, the comments, that turns into kind of a fun thing too, that I
Yeah.
didn't anticipate. So we'll get to that. Let's,
If
Yeah.
she gets that to us by the 27th, and we all have then 2 weeks till the 10th. To complete, to look through this and your information and fill it out. Then that still gets us everything to Amy by the 10th.
and if it's still kinks in the road, we might end up going into May, because it's not like it's locked in that we
Yeah.
have to have it for hiring or anything else. But yeah, let's,
And the next board meeting, if you keep with your third Tuesday, it would be the April 21st. FYI.
Which if we have them into you, Amy, by the 10th, would that give you enough time to look at them before the 21st
oh yeah.
for that meeting?
Yeah,
And then we could discuss.
it takes me out. I mean, the top of me.
Yeah.
A little bit of math, and then we have to figure out the columns, but I wasn't sure how to synthesize those
Yes.
and not, so I just literally copy and pasted all the comments, because I don't leave anything out. There's a lot of good feedback.
Yeah.
But I don't know if we continue with that. Okay, so should we still go through these evidences or?
Yes.
Okay, okay, so course progress we got for that. Work ethic, I think that's fine, but I don't know either. I mean, that's something that's pretty obvious. Establishment of school work culture.
How as a board would we gather evidence or come up with an observation about that? Because we're not here that much.
I think it's like, my initial thought is just like the people who did the school evaluation. They could feel it, they could sense it, they could see it. The kids coming in doing this,
Yeah.
I think it's just gonna be like, you're here a lot, you have a huge advantage, but even when I'm here, you can sense the uniqueness of it. It's not like you're running a middle school. But I don't know if we want to add more to it, or does that, all we need is something to help trigger us when it's time to say, what does that mean? Attitude, appearance of school, alignment with mission. Sense of mission.
I think we could add feedback, maybe if you've heard anything from staff or parents or kids or whatever. And maybe feedback isn't the right term, but
Well, even your Lincoln Day thing, that's establishing it, but also that could fit somewhere else in the community.
Yeah.
So you might put something like that in the comments, because you actually announced it. So we definitely need to change foster classical education. Because it says expressed during the interview. And that's gone. Fostering classical education, what would be some evidence if you were coming in and evaluating?
We'll be doing those classes every
Yeah.
second and fourth.
personal and
Those
professional development.
professional development, what are the students reading, what are they learning? Memorizing the preamble.
And even feedback, because I saw somebody, but well, you have your volunteer of the month, and was it month? Anyway, a week or whatever you're doing. And she said, when my child comes home and they're talking about deep stuff, this is a kindergartner. They're able to actually have conversation, but those anecdotal things that are that fostering classical.
Okay, I added personal and professional development, student learning. Examples.
Building an effective leadership team, past successes in other organizations. I don't know if that needs to be in there.
Yeah, that's really.
References, no. Current culture, current relationships and community.
So you're redoing this, Lisa? and-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, you don't have to take all the notes, I'm sorry.
Would we put,
I'll be doing it right here.
I mean, because staffing's been and always is and will always be your biggest tag.
What about interactions with staff or something like that?
Yeah, start conversations, or start interactions.
And at our last, we have chats. So at our last grade chat, I encourage the staff, if they have anything they want to let you know about me, that they should contact you, because I told them I'm getting evaluated. So
So you can put chats as the actual word, since that's the word they use, if you guys have. chats.
Staff chats.
Yeah.
We have like grade chat, procedure chat, whatever it is.
Great.
Recruitment, would that fall under there? Possibly as something?
Under number 2 still.
Yeah, recruitment efforts.
I think so.
It's gonna be doing a lot of that's. And you know what? It's getting harder to recruit. People just don't want to go into education. It's harder. For many reasons. Employees. Anything else under building an effective leadership team that you think would be good evidence to think about? Yeah, how about staff management?
It seems like we need something sort of beyond the observations and reflections, maybe, I don't know that discipline falls here, but.
Well, I mean, staff discipline does dealing with staff issues. Why do that well?
Yeah. Staff. Feedback.
Yeah, I was gonna say feedback, I think it'd be really good here. I mean, yeah.
That's where survey would be helpful.
Pull it off.
Yeah.
What'd you think about that, Fran, when in year one? Is that something you might be a little overwhelming to manage in year one? I mean, I love the idea, but I don't know if year one, trying to get, I mean, you don't have a big staff, but you have the aides, basically everybody involved to do some quick 360 type of, where they give us feedback that helps us, or does that just feel?
So I did one at the end of the first semester. I sent it out to everyone and I think like 9 people. I can send you that. I mean, that was just fairly recent.
Yeah.
Sure.
That was
But
great.
if
That
you
would be
wanted-
great.
Okay. It's just 4 questions. Like, well, I'll send it to you, and if you want more, I think you can.
For this year, because then next year we can get ahead of it, right?
Yeah.
No, I think we don't want to get too far in the weeds, you guys.
Yeah. Come back to my field, but it's
Not there at this particular point.
yeah.
Okay. Faculty hiring. Organized and timely, not sure that's quite enough either, I know it's a challenge. But I think there's a lot that goes into the hiring. The marketing and the interviews and all of that stuff.
Some of this seems redundant, but like she talked about, when you have a tiny staff, it feels, but once it gets bigger and bigger, maybe just. Staff hiring, organized.
Adaptable.
Adaptable, because we lost one, couple people, big stream here. Along the way. And then you get a great one and she's taking a year off to have a baby. It's like, no, you didn't authorize that.
Ability.
You didn't clear that with me.
You didn't clear that with me, just perfect.
Unacceptable.
Although she's already pretty much out there, so.
Yeah. Okay, faculty management. Same thing, add the discipline and feedback.
We aren't
And it feels like it's summer.
allowed or privy to what you write in your observations, the comments and stuff to the teachers, are we? I'm just thinking confidentiality wise.
I don't know. What do you guys
No,
know?
that's fitting too into the micro, I think. I mean, I wouldn't imagine a school board asking the principal for.
I don't think there's a legal objection to it, but I don't think it's a place.
Practice, yeah.
Intermediary superintendent or something, kind of go there and then. It wouldn't get to a board.
They wouldn't get to a board
But how
with policy procedure.
are we changing this, the timely observation and meaningful observation and reflection? Are we changing that under faculty management and
I
staff
just
management?
added faculty discipline and feedback and staff discipline.
I feel like at this point, staff, faculty are pretty much the same.
If you change staff to teachers then to make it Or change faculty to teachers.
So faculties are teachers, staff is all the support, like I'm staff, faculty are the classroom teachers.
Correct.
Okay, I'm just going to add a note in here under faculty that says classroom teachers.
And really, it's like 9-month contract, 12-month contract, right? I mean, that's kind of how you start breaking it up by who's here when the kids are here, here's who's here year round. Who's doing all the behind the scenes, who's front scene.
And maybe we need to put that under staff management or faculty management, that all the consultants, all of the coordination with special ed testing and.
So that would be like
speech,
staff
therapy,
management.
that's
That's
a giant.
It's staff or another.
That would be like consultant management.
Yeah, maybe that needs to fit under, would it be better under staff management or?
It'd be staff management because that's me. That's part of consultants would be staff.
Yeah, wouldn't be your teachers.
They're not
Or classroom directors, classroom teachers. Okay, I think that has to be included because that is such a big,
Yes.
big job. Collective. Okay, faculty development seems pretty standard, professional development. Implementation instead of plan or? Yeah,
Plan implementation.
sure.
It's all of it. Gotta have a plan first.
Yeah.
And I know it's hard because you brought all those people to Vegas for all that amazing training and then a month later, one of them is on, they take all that knowledge with them and a new person comes in with, but it's not, it happens to everyone.
Maybe under 6.2 we add responsiveness or replace strategies with responsiveness because faculty development needs to be timely for the faculty. Like Amy is saying, like who you have in your building, you have to be responsive. It doesn't do any good to provide training if they don't need it or they're not ready for it, right? There's a timeliness to that.
Responsiveness, the right word, or?
Do you do exit interviews with the ones who have left?
Informally, that's when you say that, Hank. So he's like, I need to get a formal way to do this. Just informal, like I ask why. Well, it's obvious why they're leaving.
And I guess just in terms of this,
I mean, at this point, I know exactly why they're leaving.
Yeah.
But you're right, we should formalize.
because it's a difference if they're leaving for personal reasons or if they're leaving driving away.
Yeah, or there's a structural system.
Yeah.
But so.
Yeah, I think that's on my to-do list. Exit
So-
interview.
Faculty development, professional development, what's a really good word for, is basically adaptive, like, all of a sudden you see a need and you.
I get that.
Taylor,
What we want to know from you is that you're seeing what the needs are and putting in place the PD, the professional development to address those needs.
Mhm.
So what would be the right word for that? Responsive, I guess does work, yeah.
Yeah, responsive, yeah.
Timely and responsive. Are we good with that? Number 7, parent communication. Do we want social media in there? Because that's such a huge part of it.
yeah.
And you haven't really done newsletter per se.
We haven't.
Should be more like social
So I'll
media.
replace that with social media and infinite campus.
Infinite campus.
Yeah,
Does that mean we should take newsletter off? 'Cause
I
Yeah.
did.
because it's obsolete, the one people get their notices. Social media.
I think this is an idea for next year. Have a little regular, not necessarily a newsletter. It can still go off for infinite campus, but like a, weekly something from your leaders.
Summary, highlight.
But like
Mhm.
2 sentences.
Right.
This is a win from this week. Just wanted to share this as part of the.
And I think a public social media little post would be good, like real consistent, because it keeps it fresh.
Yes.
And sharing it on those, larger audience pages. Because eventually your social media page ends up getting a big following, but
Mhm.
if they don't know about it, you don't put it on those big ones. And I don't know, personal interactions, that would be just feedback we would get. Like people crying at the Lincoln Day thing. That's
Well, and probably
so
the, there's so many tears. It was
Oh.
great. I loved it. I love making people cry.
Good luck for your husband, but go.
He's right. The parent nights. What do you call those?
Parent Academy?
Parent Academy.
Academy, yeah.
Add that.
That's
Yeah,
something
that's
the
that.
state really like to see in that report.
Yeah.
School
Do more.
handbooks.
And this is another one that definitely needs to be updated because now they're in the school handbooks. So do we,
Do we just say updated
Revision.
timely, revision?
revision, and I think there's also like holding people to them, you know,
Oh, yeah.
actions compared to the handbook. Yeah,
Loads of that.
yep, somebody.
Accountability.
So change of
Compliance.
employee,
Your brain will remember.
you can get rid of employee and student family, just put, handbooks, communicated. And then for,
Distribution.
It's like continuity, but it's not. Yeah, that might be.
in the morning, that was proper different.
I have distribution, revision, and accountability.
Perfect, that's a good start, if you could think of it.
I'll change it and then come up with your word.
Okay.
And maybe. Are we gonna know that includes, number 8 includes employee and the student handbook? Or should we put that underneath the 8 part?
Sure.
Because there are 2 different things going on.
Yeah.
Okay, relations with board, SPCA Hillsdale K-12 program. Evidence issue would be the site evaluation by SPCSO. What else should you use for pay? I mean, we have a direct relationship on that. We know what the relationship is with the board.
Other feedback, I wonder about also adding something about.
Oh, epicenter. You can do the epicenter score for SPCSA relationships.
Oh, okay.
You can look
Is
at,
there a score?
yeah, can you guys log on to epicenter? Or I can send you a screenshot, like we're 89% on time or something like that.
Yeah, that would be great.
And 100% turned in.
So,
Oh, yeah.
December score, yeah. that's
Okay,
good,
I'll
'cause there's
send
a
you.
lot to that, because I get it's like 7 tasks a month or sometimes.
It's a lot.
It's ridiculous. I mean, it's lovely.
There's nobody there now.
Thank you, Gretchen.
I'll send a screenshot and you can maybe, I think it says like how many tasks we've submitted, et cetera, et cetera.
It'd be really cool if you, I mean, I don't know if you could pull it off and show every task, you know, how they're in that grid and that
I
spreadsheet.
wonder if there's a list.
Every task you've done, it's just so much.
It'll make you cry. At least it will be crying.
Yeah,
I will be.
it's a big leap. Okay, that's a good one. Budget, Cam, do we want to put anything about Cam in there? Or?
It'd be good to get feedback from Cam, and because I think we're working well together, but they may tell you a totally different story.
And
Is that something, Amy, that you could request? Or actually, I guess you could request it directly.
I guess that goes under budget. maybe.
Feedback. Okay.
But requirements for board members.
performance, sure. Yeah, that'd be good.
And I think, this is another place where we need this word of agility. What's the right word? What's the right word for fiscal?
Who's a thesaurus champion on this team?
I'm looking at.
I don't want to say flexibility because fiscal flexibility sounds.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not cheap.
Responsibility. Adaptability.
Yeah, what's that word of like, you make the adjustments that you need to make to keep us.
Because it has been
Solid.
quite a year. I mean, we
Yeah.
really good curriculum. You don't want
Agile.
I don't see what's wrong with responsibility and solvency. You gotta make adjustments if you're gonna stay solvent.
Yeah.
There's
So
that.
what's wrong with that?
We'll go with it. Turn the page. State requirements.
Oh, that would be epicenter there too. That's an epicenter one.
Should we put it there? We'll get rid of it over here?
Either one.
Go into both.
Yeah. So epicenter and then You also have, that's where all of everything.
Oh, and
budget,
testing, that's
policy,
assessment, yeah, that's all, that's, I mean,
Testing could go in here.
assessment
That's
that
huge.
we've done what we,
Reporting,
yeah, that's Epicenter's
because
reporting.
you've got special ed reporting, it's on. It's all epicenter stuff, but it's good to outline. Okay. Anything else under state requirements? Randall or anybody? Compliance stuff. Okay, marketing, we need to add a little more there. Enrollment, that's.
I don't think that's not quite right.
Increase.
Enrollment, lottery, anything that'll help.
And I just say enrollment trends.
Trend, I like that.
Enrollment trends.
We need you over there.
There you go, nice.
Well, I gotta run to a job interview in about 2 minutes.
Well, we're almost done, so just
Not bad enough, though.
timely okay, discipline. Policy compliance or policy follow through. Feedback. Timely resolution.
And then really results, like are there fewer fistfights on the playground
Exactly.
now than there was stuff?
And that's where special ed was adjustments with some of the IEPs and some of the IEP responsiveness or something could be an hindrance. Bringing in the behavioral team.
Yeah, that lady.
Put that in there, the behavioral observation team.
Consultant.
Yeah, those are good evidences.
And, sorry. What was it? What did you say about IEP resolution? No, what did you call
IEP responsiveness or something, it's gonna be big, but because that's a big part. You
Okay.
have to adjust those IEPs, and then the behavioral consultant. We'll figure
I got
that out. Facility maintenance, kind of standard, huh?
The HVAC switch in this room now.
It's warm.
It might be really hot.
Warm in the summer.
And they have the heater running, it's better, they've been in and out multiple times, we put the thermostat in here. It's still not quite right, but it's better.
Yeah.
It's, we're on the right track. They're as confused as, they're like scratching their heads. Like, they don't know what's going on.
That's very typical in all schools too. Outcomes.
Steve, oh, I have to tell you real quick, I told Lisa, so Steve, I didn't know Steve was in the building working, he had snuck in and I ran up to the library to get something and the trap door was open and I'm like, oh, I better shut this, I don't know why it's open, so I close it and I'm running down here and I'm bebopping around and then I just happened to look in here and I see the ladder in the things and I'm like, so I run back up there and open it up. I'm like, and then he came out and carrying his ladder. I'm like, Steve, I locked you up there. He's like, I got out.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
Okay, crisis management. Finding communicated.
Drill reports.
Drill reports.
Now we really have drills.
Yeah, I experienced one. And that alarm is awful. But that's
And we had the real incident.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
yeah, you had to do that lockdown for a little bit. And that was well communicated. Succession plan, I still struggle with that a little bit because I don't know.
Do we have a succession plan?
I don't.
There's one that you guys approved. It just basically says, I can send it to you again if you want.
Yeah,
Like,
she
That
was
was
the
the
one,
one.
what, who responds when
Yeah.
she's out, when we came in and.
Yeah.
And
like if I'm out a day, if I'm out a week, if I'm like dead, like, I kind of prioritize. If I'm sick,
always fun.
if I get hit by a bus, Amy's in charge pretty much.
Yeah.
Amy steps in, board president
I avoid buses.
at all
Okay.
costs.
Okay, so we don't really need to put much on that.
I just wanted to add something about it being reviewed and updated.
Yeah, because you did have some staff changes
Oh,
right after that, because you had the one gal,
yeah, I do. I know, you're right.
Chandler Chief. So yeah, that's a good one. All right, let's try it. We'll talk to Cam, Susan getting there. I'll get the self-evaluation piece. And it may be that in April, we'll put it all together and in May, we're doing that. There's nothing in stone that we can do, but
I think as long as we do one
yes.
in the next month, couple months. Yeah.
But I'd like to keep working on it too. We should have something really happy. Anything else on the plan? Okay, so we have a couple things we need to do before we finalize it. One would be Brandon's gonna send us a teeny tiny highlight of things she doesn't want us to forget. She's done that amazing. We're gonna try to get feedback from Cam, and I'm gonna get those self-evaluation piece to you, see if it helps.
Okay.
And then we'll try to get, maybe by Lisa will have the new and improved one out to us. We'll try to get it back to me by the end of this month. Rough. If it works out, if it takes a little longer, because Cam hasn't given the feedback, we haven't.
We're holding to this time.
All right, we're gonna.
April 10th, we said to Amy by
April 10th, yeah, everything to you guys in the next week or so.
Yeah.
And then by April 10th, everything back to me with scores and comments. And what do you guys think about the comments? Just whatever people comment, I just copy and paste it in there.
Yes,
Okay,
all the comments will be given to Brandon.
yes, okay,
It
so,
might be good if we can sort them by subject.
yeah, well, or by person, or should we try to do it by, I'll work on that. We'll see how it looks. So if you guys can do it.
Do you want me to build this in Excel instead? And we could just have a comment column for each row. So if you have a specific comment there, and then we can also have a comment bucket at the bottom.
Really,
Overall comment bucket.
really, I'd like to see this as like a survey monkey or Zillow form or something
Okay.
to send out to us.
Yeah, you could do like a
Sure.
Google form.
Yeah, Google form.
Yeah.
You can make a Google form right off a spreadsheet.
Yes. So if I add a column where you can make a specific note per line item and then general comments at the bottom, then they wouldn't have to be sorted by category.
I like
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, so under each row, you would have a space for comments, and if I put a comment in, it'd go right underneath that. Okay, I like that, because that's better feedback for her. The whole idea is feedback,
Yeah.
you know, so it's an arbitrary form, but it's good feedback.
Okay.
Okay, let's try it. I like it. Okay, anything else on her evaluation? Okay, we've already done D, so we're moving on to Lisa with discuss public event to be held at the Seventh Canyon Ranch, July 18th.
Hank, before you leave, put July 18th on your calendar.
I'm doing that, right.
Okay. NCAE event at Seventh Canyon Ranch. Okay. Great. If Hank's there, it'll be good. Thank you.
Thank you, Hank. See you.
See you guys later.
So we have been talking about doing an event for a couple of years. We've talked about several things. We've talked about, is it a thank you to our donors event? Is it a fundraising event? Is it now a community staff sort of event? I don't know the answer to these questions. This is part of why I wanted to talk to this group about it. I do think it's time for us to do something and to be thoughtful about how we do it. Joe DeBraga last year offered up Seventh Canyon Ranch as a possible location where he could host it for us. So we sat down with him and looked at dates. July 18th is the date that we settled on. It's a Saturday. It works for him. In excellent news, he has a wedding there the weekend before, and he thinks the porta potties will still be there, so we won't have to pay for porta potties.
Yeah. Don't remind them to come.
That's a bonus.
And I think we have some opportunity here to get several folks. I talked to Sheldon Mudd at Lincoln Day Dinner and asked him if we had an auction, if he would come and do the auction. It said yes, and he's available. So we just need to get him on the schedule. That is if we decide to do an auction and try to do a fundraiser. And we'll have to talk about what kind of event we want it to be. But we're hoping that it's far enough out that everybody is available to be there on the 18th of July.
So how do you anticipate the planning? Because I don't know if at each meeting, that's not enough.
At each meeting is not enough. I also hesitate to stand up an actual committee. But this is not going to be a one-person planning sort of job. So I guess the first question for discussion is, what kind of event do we want this to be? And then we can talk about planning different events or different.
Well, I think that, I have to say, we need to put some thought into it. I mean, I don't know that, I mean, I think it would be good to do something for our donors. That would be good. Be good to do a fundraiser, but I mean, I don't know that we're gonna have all these answers today.
No,
I mean, I think since you put that on the table, let's everybody on the board go back and come back to this board or send it to one of us and then we can send it out to everybody else or just send our ideas to everybody on the board and see what we come up with. I don't know how you want to do it, but I don't think it's I don't think it's gonna happen right now.
No, I think we start brainstorming though, like, are we gonna have food? What kind of food? Are we gonna have music? Do we have Sheldon Mudd's girls doing the banjo thing? Or do we do an actual formal with a dance? Is this a thank you or is this a fundraiser? Or is it a compliment?
That's what I'm just saying. So everybody
Yeah.
take that back to your little bailiwick and think about it. What do you want? You want to thank you and, you want to thank you and a fundraiser? Do you want, you want to have a picnic? Do you want to have music? Is it gonna be,
Daytime,
structured?
nighttime? Yeah.
I mean, I think it's a great idea. I mean, it's just gonna require, like I say, I don't think it's gonna require everybody on this board to do something, plus probably we might have to enlist some of the faculty and staff
Some
and,
parents.
I've mentioned it
make
to
it a
Jamie
school
as well.
event and parent event or whatever, but
We have the kids come out and do a little something. What is your guys' general, when you first think about it, what do you envision? I'm just curious. You see it as a formal fancy dinner thing or more of a
I see a picnic.
daytime picnic that goes into early evening or something?
Maybe an afternoon sort of
That's formal.
picnic.
Okay.
Yeah, that means food's less expensive.
Right, that's what I was thinking. It's not steak and lobster.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sandwiches and.
Yeah.
Is it family for like invite families or is it for, I think that's a big delineation right there. Like, is it for our families or is it for our supporters? Like, do we intend kids to be there or no kids? I think that's kind of a big
that's a big one.
delineation right off the bat. I don't know the answer.
Yeah, and I think, is it a
I guess,
fundraiser?
what's the
That's a
goal? I
big-
guess we
that's
need
a
to set
big
it, like,
delineation too.
what's the purpose of it?
Silent
Yeah.
auctions, if you can get enough donations, or do
Yeah.
you do a?
I think if we go to the point of something for donors, it's gotta be more formal and fancy,
Mm-hmm.
not just take them over and have it. When I first heard it, I thought it was kind of like, oh, we bring the board members, staff members that are here, families, founders members that are still part of it. That's what I thought it kind of was. I didn't know which.
Like more celebratory.
Yeah.
Like we've made it, we're a year in.
Mhm.
That's really sort of what I've been pondering. Is it celebratory? Is it fundraising? Or is it like a thank you? Specifically for donors more so than anything else. And I think those are three very different events.
Mhm.
And it's pretty difficult to do them all together.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
also, if we do, a nice event as a thank you, we also really need to do something celebratory for the community that has been participating. So then it kind of becomes maybe two events or something, which is just out of control.
Yes. Can we combine them creatively where they're invited to the celebration? But it's not. I don't know.
I would agree with Tim. My thought was it's celebratory. It's like Dorothy saying, low key, fun. Because I'm with you, like it seems like a thank you event is a more formal, like really nice thank you, which I don't think we're ready for. Although it needs to be done. We could all just multiply ourselves and multiply the time. What a difference.
Well,
we could make.
I think there's probably some latitude for combining celebration and thank you to your sponsors. I mean, we're having a picnic for the school. We'd love to have you come. I mean, we don't have to.
And you could honor them. They're like, hey, we'd like to thank our founding board. We'd like to thank our big, our donors who contributed, and the ones who show up, we have them stand up and clap or something. And then you have all those parents there, and then you have an auction, silent auction and a loud auction, because the parents, they don't have checkbooks.
And I guess that then like fundraising, generic fundraising for something specific, right? Then we have to get into like what's the fundraising
Yeah.
for.
We have time to figure that out.
You gotta draw out prizes and different things, and
The last word.
it is.
Yeah,
But you have a parent group, you might be willing to hit up a couple businesses.
We do have more people in that regard.
And you just do it as, like the first year, it's not gonna be,
Well, and that's what Joe said. He said, just do something.
do something.
Do
and
something
you learn
to
and
get
grow.
it started.
State party.
Oh, a 1-year birthday. Or.
Yeah.
It'll be 2 if you're zero.
What if it's like, come celebrate the first birthday event? Like, then it becomes casual but celebratory, but also it's an easier way to mix audiences.
There you go, and you contributed to our success the first year, and you have a little, one section's the recognition, and then it's we'll sing happy birthday. The little kids can do a poem.
Amy is on.
And then what do the kids do when everybody, if it's a room for them to run around and have them, I don't.
I like the birthday party idea.
And I actually like the kids, they're.
Why we're
We are
here.
a school, yeah.
That's why we're here.
And if we want to do something way more formal with, fancy dinner,
I think we gotta put that down the road a little bit.
yeah.
Because we're gonna have to, that's gonna.
This
be
is gonna
like-
cost
That's
money.
like, the girls club, we're gonna have
Right,
to
something
put
like
some
that.
thought and money into that.
What would that look like number wise if we did a fancy dinner for donors?
Or the big bill.
Different. I mean,
Is
how
it only
many?
for big donors or is it for all?
I don't know. That's what I'm wondering.
Well, because then you want to try to get like the Boys and Girls Club, then they just move into, this is our next, now we're working on our capital campaign. And we're trying to get them to bring. I don't know. That's a different.
But I mean, like I say, I think we could blend it with something casual that's celebratory, whether it's a birthday or just, celebrate the school, however you want to put it. That you could invite, then you can mix everybody in there. It's faculty and donors and
Right them all.
kids.
And we could do a nice thank you for any donors who show, we could do a thank you for all the donors, but we could do it there for any donors who show up.
Yeah, and Lisa, as you and I both know, there have been, our biggest donors have not wanted any recognition, period. They don't
Right.
want it there.
Right.
So we
So
should take them to sometime.
it'd be pretty tough to take Uncle Jim, so
Well,
he's dead.
It's a little bit of
The
a more
others.
private.
The others.
It would be interesting, to say the least.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying, so I think even the other big donors, they'd be perfect, they're very unassuming people, they'd be perfectly happy coming to a picnic.
Yeah.
And, having people say thank you, and that's good enough. Maybe somewhere. And even, you like look at the Boys and Girls Club dinner. Even when you go there, you don't know who gave $100,000 and who gave $20,000 and who gave 10, right? Everybody's, it's definitely a fundraiser, so, everybody there has had their pocket open at some point or another, but except for the little table that have all the,
Yeah.
to tell you exactly who's doing all those things. But I don't know, when we have time to give it some thought, don't we? And
Yeah.
just
As long as
everybody-
everybody puts it on your calendar.
So we're looking at more of an informal picnic type celebration times with possible auction and maybe a
Or at
silent
least
auctionary.
Silent auction or raffle.
Yeah.
But some of those are easier than others for a
Yeah.
first year celebration.
Silent is very easy.
Yeah.
Got Larry right down.
And we mix the audiences rather than trying to limit it to a specific group.
Yes.
And that if what Joe's saying is correct, and we just want to do something, well, that accomplishes that goal. And then as the year
Each year, he
progresses, then
says,
we
yeah,
can
it'll
get a
grow
little
each
more
year.
Yeah.
We'll see what
refined in what we
works.
want to do.
I think it's great.
Okay. There should probably be a working group for this, which we could do with.
July will be here before you know it.
Two board members, maybe Jamie.
And Jamie and Brandolyn or designee.
I like that.
Like the
Designee.
designee, it's like staff person who loves this stuff.
So
Because there are always people who enjoy, like, we have our social committees and these people love to put on these events. And they weren't on my academic committee and they weren't on my just fun committee. They were on my creative party because we need to have fun.
Yeah.
Yes.
You have to have. It. So,
okay, I'll get you someone. I'll send to someone. Do I send it to Lisa?
yeah, does anybody on this board already say this is something that sounds fun to participate?
No.
Right, okay, it's gonna be some.
Who wants this?
Well, I think everybody got help. I mean, I
Yes.
think this year, that's just goes without saying. Everybody's gonna have to be in charge of something for this little activity.
As far as a working committee, you don't want more than two board members, or you're gonna have to.
Yeah, agenda.
But,
Right.
Working group.
But we're not even gonna call it a committee. We're just gonna call it a celebration and a group of people that need to organize it.
Somebody has to help.
I'll help
Yes.
you.
Okay.
I'll be glad to help you. But everybody's gonna have to.
Yeah.
Everybody, you can assign us things to do, but you're the group, you're the group.
You're the leaders.
We can assign things, yeah.
You're the
You
lead.
can get a designee or.
I'll send you someone.
And does Joe have some specific ideas? Does he,
No,
he doesn't, he's just generalized?
he just keeps offering up the ranch as a place to
Which is
do
a
it,
great location.
which is great. And he says they have all the tables and chairs,
Yeah.
assuming that it's fewer than I think 200. I think he has about 200 or 200 and something. We can rent more. So we will talk to him some more about logistics. Maybe Joe will be on our working group.
Oh,
There you
sure.
go. That
I
would
think
be
he'd
really
be a
good.
good one, but yeah.
You know, some of the things that are want to know.
Well, yeah.
Over years of.
Yes, and the vendors, we were
I
talking
think
about.
that Angie might do it, because, you know,
Yeah,
she's great at that.
excellent. That's so neat. Anything else on that, Lisa? We Still pretty good?
No, nothing else to report. Thank you very much.
Okay, so we will move into public comment. Any public comment?
None here.
Nobody even left online, how they all gave up on us.
Yeah.
Okay, board member reflection. Reflection.
I just have one item, Vega Construction's donating gravel for the thing over there, but I need to know, somebody needs to tell me where you want it, where it goes, so that Enos can put it there. So I'll stop by Randall and you can show me.
Well, and we need to clear it with Steve. I don't think we just go pouring gravel on his property, and I did text him. He never texted back. So I'll work on that.
Yeah, well, just ask him. I mean, I'm just saying that Enos will donate the gravel.
Awesome.
So that's
Okay.
okay. If it's okay with, Steve, then somebody can tell me where the gravel's going and
Awesome.
we might.
When you got our money, it's the
We
same.
might have another project, because we might all be out there with shovels.
Yeah.
Digging grass.
We get
But
somebody to.
you can
Level it.
just, you can just
87
pretend like you're on a diet.
And they love playing with rocks out
They
in the
do.
playground.
They like to, just throwing it, yeah.
I got
It definitely is.
work to take home that day.
All of it, but yeah, I'm sure he'll be fine, we'll improve his problem.
Yeah, I can't imagine he would.
The other thing that I really think we need to do is replace this board member. And I think everybody on this board needs to bring suggestions. And I mean, by next week, or next meeting or
Kind of
whatever.
target if you get somebody who represents the bilingual community.
Well, I don't care, but everybody's got to do it. I mean, Tim, I'm sure you have some,
Yeah, people.
Amy, you know people.
Bilingual
I mean,
is the tough
so we've got to, Kim, you know people, we've got to get that position filled. Because I mean, it's it's critical.
Yeah,
We need more.
we actually need a pool of them because things do happen, just like with staff.
Well, if you're interested in entertaining more parent involvement, we have several parents who are fairly active that are bilingual
Absolutely.
that might fill that need. If that's
Well, I mean,
a
yeah,
priority.
if you can talk to them, I mean, all we need is a letter of interest. Doesn't have to be anything formal, just somebody that we can talk to if they really would like to.
Okay.
That's okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you have a really good pool, some people there.
I have some ideas.
Economic side.
And I know Lisa knows a few people. I have a couple ideas, but I mean, I think we need to come together as a board and find somebody to fill that position. It's crucial.
They offer a strength that complements this.
Mm.
Excellent. Any other reflection?
I would just add to that, I know that we like this 7-person board, and that's great. And also, if you know somebody who would be great on this board who isn't bilingual, let's get them anyway. Like, let's not get in our own way, because often, somebody isn't here for a meeting and whatever. So the voting situation of having 8 people, I just think we'd be better off having great people on this board and more people to do work. So.
Well, I think as long as I think, I don't want to we shouldn't get in our way, but we also shouldn't get in our way of getting it too complicated.
Totally.
I think you can do the same thing by getting too many people on the board.
I agree.
So if there's somebody that is really absolutely outstanding that needs to be on this board, then you should do it. But
yeah, if you have a great person, bring them, get that letter of interest, and
yeah,
we should definitely have that as an agenda item for next month to review
Potential
the board members, so that we could vote on it the next month.
That would work.
Is that how that works?
I think so.
Or can
Do they get invited to the next meeting or do you just review their letters?
yeah, would you invite them so they could maybe do a little presentation or something? How do you
Tell
select?
us about yourself.
Yeah, I mean, in other words, how do we?
Because this is so unique, because they
Yes.
get voted in a public school setting, and ours was just appointed to do a. Yeah, I guess if you had several, you might have to do an interview type of thing. So let's
Wouldn't
see
you
what
just have
comes up.
them come in and, just individually come in and do a little, this is me and this is why I want to be on the board. I mean, I don't think that's too tough, is it?
No. So, they can even just read their letter of interest if they want to.
Yeah.
But I think if everybody come up with names, send them to Brandolin and whatever, if we get more than one letter of interest, then we'll review them all
Okay,
at the board meeting and have them come in.
okay. All right. Yep, send them to me, I'll start asking some parents.
Yeah, because I think it'd be kind of neat to have really an interested parent that was motivated and that would be great, yeah. Bring a good perspective. I mean, just like Lisa, you guys, you bring something different to the board that you've got kid here, so.
Okay.
Is it possible to vote on that person next week or next meeting?
You can take action on the item.
Yeah, you can agenda it as possible.
Discussion and action, yeah. Okay. We might not be ready to.
Yeah.
But if you
But at
word it
least
right and
we're
correct,
ready.
yeah.
And we had one person who was here, who was energetic, and they all said, yep, you're the one. We don't have to wait another month to.
Yeah,
Right.
no, I think that's a good idea.
Excellent. Any other reflection?
I had 2 things. The first one is I have in my parent capacity been soliciting feedback from parents over the last couple of weeks. And I have talked to so many happy parents. And I always tell them, I don't only want you to tell me the good things. I want you to tell me the not so good things too. And over it has been, my kid was in this public school. I had one the other day and she said, my daughter was in public school. She went in ahead of reading above grade level. And by 3 months in, she was reading below grade level. And now she is here and she is doing great. And the mom is so happy and the daughter is very happy. And she said it's just been a complete difference from her previous experience. And again, 3 or 4 other parents that I've talked to in the last couple of weeks have said, this is such a great place for us. We're working through whatever things that we had to deal with, but we have rich conversations around the dinner table. My kid comes home excited about what they learned today. We don't have fights getting in the car to go to school. My kid just wants to go to school. My kid is one of these kids. We had way more fights last year about going to school than we have this year. And just a really generally positive experience from parents. And I know that's not 100% across the board, but sometimes it's so nice to hear those things from parents who say my kid is doing so much better here. And they just appreciate what we're doing. So
Well, congrats, Brandolyn.
Yeah, it's a team effort. It's a team effort.
Yes.
Team NCAE.
Yay.
Yay.
And then my other comment was on the maps. We were gonna look at the maps scores, and we put that on the agenda for this.
Oh, map. Well, we just did winter map.
Didn't, you said you had progress between the two that you were gonna show us?
There was some, yeah.
You're gonna
Oh,
get
really?
not a lot, because
That's when it's winter.
Yeah, so winter to spring or spring to
fall
fall
to
to
spring.
spring will show.
But it's even trickier first year because you're implementing all that new curriculum, but you'll see some.
We'll see.
We'll see some again.
It's the assessment group.
Testing.
It's-
I don't know what it stands for.
What is it?
Oh, it's not an acronym for
I
something?
don't think,
Yeah.
I don't know if it is.
NWAE, Northwest Education Association Measure of Academic
Progress.
Progress.
Oh, there you go.
It's a growth thing.
It's growth.
Major academic project.
Oh, I'm.
Well, that's close enough.
Yeah.
It's a, yeah, standard. So we'll do it, do you want to see the winter? I can do it next, but then we'll have May. So that would be in the June meeting. We'll have spring to fall comparison
Okay.
or fall to spring.
I was just curious. We had kind of mentioned it in this last meeting and I
I'll
was
do some kind of academic update. We should do, because we don't talk very much about academics. So let me put that a pink star, which means it's an agenda.
yes, that'd be great.
Academic update. How about that?
Yeah. So April, it looks like the 15th. No, 14th. No, 21st.
You're
Taking taxes, I got the tax thing going, and then I'm like, the Wednesday, no, we're Tuesday. Okay, so our
Maybe the
meeting
21st.
is 21st.
21st?
Yes.
At 2 again?
Yes.
Okay. This is a good productive meeting, you guys.
Yeah, we want to try this. All right. And we will adjourn the meeting and I will sign the minutes and get them to you.
Okay, thank you.
Did you print those out already?
I want to stop the recording.